That's mommy's. Use this if you want to smell like daddy.
You never had to question if you were a man, so why give your money to a corporation that doesn't know if their products are made for men? Try Jeremy Razor's hair and body products. Jeremy shampoo and conditioner are made with tea tree oil to naturally clean and restore your hair and scalp, argan oil to soften your hair and not your masculinity, and aloe vera to moisturize the hair and scalp. It's all paraben-free, sulfate-free, phthalate-free, and most importantly, 100% woke-free. Not to mention, it smells amazing. Go to jeremyrazors.com and use my special code BURNS15 to save 15% off. That's jeremyrazors.com. Use my special code BURNS15 to save 15% off. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. Please click that like button and that subscribe button. We're going to get started in a few seconds. Just a little house rules. This is our first live stream that I will take in callers. Okay. You must have your name when you dial in. It's really not a dial in, it's a stream code. So you have to have a mic and a webcam to operate it. If you don't want your face on camera, that's fine. But I really need for you guys to put your name on the screen. But we are talking about our illustrious mayor tonight. Our illustrious mayor tonight. Some of you guys that if you haven't tuned in before, let me just look at who's in here. If you're new to my channel, you just want to hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. I'm making some of you guys moderators, the people that I know, so you can kind of manage the crowd for me. So we're talking about our illustrious mayor, okay? Our illustrious mayor, and we're going to make a thing of it on Friday for the next few weeks, because I believe that some charges will be coming through for her. I think we're getting down to the final wire of Tiffany Henyard running amok in Dalton, the village of Dalton. I really do believe they're pretty much about to pull some charges up on Tiffany. Okay, because of misappropriation of funds. She just going willy-nilly, hiring people. One video I want to show you, she's very contradicting. Some of the things that she said and stood for as a trustee, it went out the window when she became the mayor of Dalton Village. And one particular thing, and we've discussed this before, Tiffany Henyard, she loves criminals. And I came across one video of her. This was a Zoom meeting, the trustee Zoom meeting, where she was advocating for them not to run background checks on people that were already hired in. Because she already knew that the people that she brought in had prior records, and I don't know, I don't know if for the city of Dalton or working for the government, how long that or how old your record has to be. But I'm not going to dox these people, but I pulled up I'm able to look up background, and I pulled up some damning things on some of the people that she has in the administration. They're pretty old, but it's like, are you advocating because you knowingly hired these people and you knowingly knew that they had a record? So, and to me, it's really asinine for her to gaslight people when they do something, or when she doesn't get her way, she's gaslighting them. And speaking of gaslighting, another township meeting, and we know Tiffany doesn't like to follow the proper channels or the proper rules when it comes to budgeting. We already know that. Um, so in this one particular meeting, she wanted, she already had this event and she wanted the township to pay for it. And but in the same breath, another trustee member had another event and they didn't pay for his. And they already approved his. But she wants to gaslight. She was telling them, you see how they doing, the people, the kids, they don't even want to pay for the kids. So it's like really ridiculous, the stuff that she does. And one last point before I get to my intro. um the person that's writing out the checks, I think her name is Camille, or um let me go back to her name. um that particular girl, her name is Carlisle. Let me just pull her up right quick. Carmen Carlisle. Carmen Carlisle, and she showed her butt at one of the meetings a long time ago. um she writes the checks for Dalton, the village of Dalton. But in her background, she's filed bankruptcy once or twice before. I can't really tell, but she's filed bankruptcy before. And then number two, she's been convicted of writing bad checks. So why in the world would you allow or hire someone to manage your checkbook and you have a problem balancing your own checkbook? Wouldn't you hire someone that is like a bookkeeper or an accountant to manage the village checking account? I mean, put it in the chat, you guys. Wouldn't you do your due diligence? It's just because it's a reflection of you. Just because your homies need a job, wouldn't you hire a person that is able to do the job? And that's what Tiffany Henyard fails to realize. When it all shakes out and it all comes undone and unraveled, she is the one who's going to be holding the bag. She's not going to be able to blame anyone else because she put these people in the position where they either don't know what they're doing or they're a yes ma'am person and they just doing whatever she says. And like I said, she acts as if she's the queen of Dalton Village or the village of Dalton and not the mayor. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about on another Business Talks. And you guys stay tuned. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. That's right. So I am just putting in the link. This is the link that I just put in, you guys. That's the link if you want to come in and give me your comments. You're free to come in and do no profanity though. No, I cuss every now and then, but no, you don't start cussing. Okay, so this first video I want to share with you guys about Tiffany Henyard. This is just a little snippet of Tiffany Henyard. Okay, so the last board meeting when we had, well, I said I act like I'm on the board of trustees of the village of Dalton. But when they had the last meeting and Trustee House, he made a point to let everyone know that the village is running in deficit close to $7 million. Okay, so we know that they are in the deficit, and it's a very large deficit for a small town. We also know that they're trying to get bonds, and bonds is basically loans against the township. And because they're saying that they're, you know, I guess, strapped for cash. And one of the things that the trustees, what they've been combating, saying, hey, if we properly manage our budget, we shouldn't be strapped for cash. We should have enough cash flow to sustain us so we won't have to loan against the city. Okay, so people won't have to they possibly could go up on their taxes, in which they're trying to pass them to go up on their taxes, and other things that a citizen might pay living in that area. So we know that they're about $7 million in deficit. Now, this one particular video, let me share it with you. Let me see. I just want to pull it up right quick. This is something that Tiffany Henyard she does. She likes to spend money, and this is, I just want to highlight of the things that she actually does. So this one particular video, she claims
at the Village
that
of Dolton Tree Lighting, Mayor Tiffany Henyard said this.
And that is, she claims that the board of trustees, they don't want to pay for stuff. It's like, oh, they being cheap. They don't want to do anything for the neighborhood or for the community. And I'm all about the community. And it's like, yeah, okay, you say all these things, but you don't get down to the detail. So this one particular instance was their tree lighting. She wanted to buy a tree that was $50,000. She wanted to literally buy a tree that was $50,000, and she wanted to put lights on it. So it's like, what in the world? From New York City, New York City, and it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with having a tree, and it's nothing wrong to be festive and showing lights and all that stuff. But why does it have to be $50,000? Can you just dumb it down a little bit? Just be normal, okay? Why can't it be even 5-10 grand? I don't know how much trees cost, but we're talking about a Christmas tree, something that's not planted in the ground. I don't know if they planted that tree in the ground, but you're talking about a Christmas tree, a time that it's only once a year, and you only decorate it for the month of December. Then after January 1st rolls around, January 3rd, you had it stuff off. So you want to spend $50,000 of the township money on a tree. So she said this. She says, hey, these people, they don't want to spend no money because the trustees are not for the community.
The tree lighting. As you know, the Board of Trustees said no to this right here.
That's not the truth. This is what the board said no to. The mayor attempted to order a Christmas tree from Rent a Christmas in New Rochelle, New York for $50,285.19. The board refuses to allow this administration to spend the taxpayers' money irresponsibly when the last finance report in October shows the village has a $3.4 million deficit.
Now, that's last year. Now we know. So between the trustee house already told us, between the May and now, they added $4 million onto that. $4 million. or I'm saying May, but January to now, they added $4 million onto that deficit. So it's like, okay, you want us to believe you that you're the super mayor and you're for the people, but then you go and do this kind of stuff. Okay. And it's really ridiculous. And let me just get to some of your comments. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Uh Colleen, I couldn't believe residents was given $500 fine for the parking ticket. It should be $50. She wanting all of their money. Yeah, and that happened this August. You know, people were and I don't even think they were uh parking on the street. Some of these people, they were saying that they received a parking ticket inside a shopping center. It's like, are you serious? And then it was $500. You know, that's egregious within itself. That's like gouging. Like, what are you doing? Because you're trying to make up with your deficit, or, you know, make up the money that you're spending. To me, it's a little bit on the ludicrous side. Um, a child of the I am. Is that what that says? Okay. It should have been nothing. They were on private property. Isn't that so crazy? Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It was on private property. Uh Ken, act of kindness is 7:30 where you're at. Okay. Merry Christmas to you. Did you go to Vegas? They didn't pay. LOL. Yes, they did. I came from the small Tennessee backwoods town, and that is corrupt as all get out. People die in jail, nothing is done. Fireman beats a black man half to death. Black man goes to jail, and fireman retired. Yeah, I hear Tennessee is. I guess it all depends on what parts of Tennessee you're from. Okay, so this happened. Okay, so the tree lighting, she was trying to spend $500 or $50,000 on a Christmas tree of all things. Now, another thing that I wanted to highlight. So at one of the board meetings, this is how hypocritical she is. She, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I think this is it. Um, she wanted them to pay for the July the 5th party. I believe it's the July 4th party. And she got mad because they didn't want to pay for it. Oh no, this is not it. This is not it. History. This is it. Yeah, and she got mad they didn't want to pay for it. They didn't want to pay for the party that you already had, and now you're trying to you didn't go through the proper channels, and now you're trying to get the township to pay for it, which doesn't make any sense. Mm. I just want to fast forward to the part.
$39.96. $500. This is like.
Okay, so Trustee House, he's over the financial, or he's on the finance committee. And what they do is go through this line item budget before they approve it. And they can amend the budget if they feel as if they didn't get the approval before putting it on the budget. But one thing Tiffany Henyard, Mayor Henyard's been doing, she's been spending the money, then go back and put it on the budget, and then get mad at them saying, why didn't you approve it? It was for the kids. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So this is
license fees total for the month was $49,078.56.
This is what they're talking about.
That concludes Mrs. Kent's report. The next report will be the code enforcement report.
Melanie Fitness Center payments $162.86, and Homewood Disposal Bonds payment $25,000. Total payments on this register $506,205.11. Motion that we approve both warrant lists collectively with the following amendments. I would motion to have a removal of the following vendors: Discount Fence, Affordable Party Planner, Jamie Aponte, Paint on Me, and all the manual checks listed on the warrant list. So I ask for a motion with the following edits.
All right, is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Well, I have some discussion. What's the reason for pulling those people out?
Those individuals did not follow the process of getting the proper approval from the Board of Trustees prior to the checks being issued or written.
And one being the Affordable Party Planner, and what was the others that you want to pull out?
It was Discount Fence, Affordable Party Planner, Jamie Aponte, Paint on Me, and the manual checks listed on the last page of the warrant list.
Okay. They did follow the proper channels to get approval, and this is stuff for a community. We just had a July 4th event, and I will advise the board to please approve their funds because we do have the money to pay for this. So can you guys amend your motion to pay for those items? Because we did just have a community event. What was that? Saturday, 4th of July event. So are you willing to amend your motion? No.
I'm in a disagreement with your assessment, so my motion remains the same.
Okay. Well, just for the record, so the community understand what's going on. The board do not want to pay for an event we just had, which was the fireworks show, which was this Saturday. This Saturday, we put it on at Thornridge High School. We do have the funds, and the vendors will get paid because number one, I did go and advocate for money for vendors to get paid. We did get donations from several different vendors. So if they don't.
Okay, Tiffany, you just said you advocated for these funds. This is why I have a problem with Tiffany. She thinks she's a fast talker. We advocated for those funds, and it's in the budget, so those vendors will get paid. You are not the queen. Stop acting like you're the queen, okay? Number two, if you advocated or raised money for this particular event, why didn't you say, hey, we raised $10,000 for this event? That's what we raised. And why didn't you tell, okay, we raised $10,000 for this event. I think it's going to cost us $5,000 or $15,000 for this event. Why can the board approve the $5,000 so we could pay all the vendors? Not put it on the thing or the order, work order, or whatever, a warrant list. They call it a warrant list. Put it on a warrant list and then expect them to approve it after you didn't even have a discussion about it. You just said, oh, we gonna approve it. Y'all don't want to approve stuff for the kids. That's just, to me, it's just ridiculous. So stop it with the madness and stop trying to gaslight the people that works for the city. They don't work for you. They work for the city. And you're trying to use kids in your political game. You're literally trying to use the kids.
Don't want to pay here, we will pay with the vendor's money, which we do have in the bank account at the Village of Dollar.
I got a question.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Vendors performing services. We had an MS walk. We had a caterer, a photographer, and they are not being paid. The DJ, who is a adult resident, none of this stuff is on the warrant list. When will that be paid? Since they already submitted their invoices and did the work, it hasn't been on the warrant list for the last, I think, 2 months. Is that ever going to be paid?
So if it's something that has not been on the warrant list, or you saying did not get paid, I'll tell y'all the same thing when we come to every single board meeting. You guys have my phone number. We can get anything adjusted, fixed before we get here. We get here, we got put on the show. So I know nothing about what you're speaking of. So if it's something that I need to address, trustee, you could call me. We could have fixed it or got it resolved before the board meeting.
No, that's not how it works. Why I got to call you? Why I got to call you personally to do something that already has a protocol to do? The protocol is not go through the mayor. We're the board of trustees. Anything with financial, and if it has to be approved, any type of spending, it has to go through us. So literally, you should be calling us, not the other way around. And then the administrator act like I don't want to get in the middle of it. You're supposed to be working for the people, not just for the mayor. You work for the people as well. You're supposed to be providing the necessary things for the trustees to approve the budget. And you don't even do that. You don't do that. And we'll find out later on in their little tiff, they're going back and forth. Why what's his name? Keith Freeman. He doesn't do his job. He really doesn't. Robert Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Chawanne Burns, for your great reporting, and we love watching your videos/streams. Well, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, and you will find out. We will find out that Tiffany Henyard is full of crap.
What I'm talking about right now is vendors that's on this one list to get paid, that should get paid, that I did allocate funds for, that is in the village's bank account, that vendors actually donated to this event. So for you guys to pull it out is selfish. I don't think y'all look at the residents first. I think y'all think about self first. And I'm telling y'all again, we have the money, and it's not the people's money, it's the vendors' money. So why would you guys not?
You should have started off with that. On the line item, your person is Freeman. On the line item, we have X amount of dollars that was donated from such and such, from vendor such and such. That's what you would have said. And you could have put on each line item 10,000 minus whatever that line item. Hey, Mr. Freeman is your guy. How come you couldn't calculate how much you received and put it on there? And this wouldn't even been a whole argument, because you're lying. She's lying. That's why she didn't do that, because she's lying. Because if someone donated some money, where's the money at? And how much money did they donate? You should have led with that first. Not try to put it under the cover saying, oh, it was deposited. Or you didn't even say that. You just said the vendors donated the money. Well, then why are you trying to get paid for it?
Pay it.
You guys let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction.
If it's not coming out of their pockets, the residents' pockets, it's coming out of donations. Vendors, people that donate to us.
Do we have any receipts of the donations? And how much was the donations in total?
It can cover what we have.
Do you have the total amount of donations?
It can cover what I have.
Well, you just stated, Mayor, that it's a community.
That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to be transparent and stop being like, oh, I'm trying to one up you, you should have said, I collected over $11,000.99. Why is that a problem for the trustee to ask you, okay, how much did you collect? You could use all the money, but how much did you collect? You're trying to be incognito or secretive You're sending double signals here. Do you want to get this paid, or do you just want to be have a make it hard for the trustees to do their job, or try to exert your power? Because that's what I see. She's trying to exert her power and not answer questions because she doesn't think she has to answer questions to the trustees, because we already know what she say. They beneath me. I don't got time for these little people because they beneath me. That's how she feels about them.
It is.
What Trustee Steve just spoke on too was a community event that has not been paid for several months, and directed by Janice Johnson. She was instructed to not pay anything that the trustees vendors put on the warrant list. And then I find it hard to say that you sit here and say this, and you was on Facebook and everywhere else giving out $5,000 checks to businesses that don't even reflect on the warrant list. So we want to start talking about the accuracy of the warrant list. We should start with everything.
Okay, so let's get that cleared up. Trustee, because you're going to be in trouble for defamation of character to me. So let's get that clear. Let's get the facts as it relates to the money here at the Village of Dalton. As it relates
Defamation of character. Let's rewind that back. She said you're going to get in trouble for defamation of character. Did you guys hear that? Defamation.
What Trustee Steve just spoke on too was a community event that has not been paid for several months, and directed by Janice Johnson. She was instructed to not pay anything that the trustees vendors put on the warrant list. And then I find it hard to say that you sit here and say this, and you was on Facebook and everywhere else giving out $5,000 checks to businesses that don't even reflect on the warrant list. So we want to start talking about the accuracy of the warrant list. We should start with everything.
Okay, so let's get that cleared up.
Why Belcher always make these ugly faces at the like I told you. But on a serious note, have y'all ever looked at Belcher, Trustee Belcher face at the end after she tells them off? But to me, it's hilarious. Tiffany Henyard, she's about to tell us about defamation of character. I really don't understand where this is coming from.
So let's get that cleared up, Trustee, because you're going to be in trouble for defamation of character to me. So let's get that clear. Let's get the facts as it relates to the money here at the Village of Dalton. As it relates to opera funds,
Defamation of character. Does she even know what that means?
guys know about it. Y'all can see it through Viewpoint. It's $5,000 through opera funds, which is grant money that I can give to the business district. So stop playing with the business district that y'all did not want to give a dime to. They booted and rooted in the community. They've been here during COVID, and we should always look out for the business community as well as the residents. As it relates to what's going on here, because you guys deflect a lot. That's the issue. And resident, I'm trying to bring you back to the facts. The facts is we're talking about this one list right here. On this one list is people that has done services for the Village of Dalton on Saturday. We need to and we should pay them. The problem with coming to our community in Dalton is the trustees do not want to pay people because they're not their friends. But they did a services for the community. So pay them. And if I, meaning the mayor, went out and advocated for funds from the business community who donated to make sure that the kids can have a bouncy house, the kids can get their face painted, I made sure that they got taken care of. Why not pay it? I'm doing the respectable thing by putting it on the one list to make sure it get paid. So what I'm asking you guys to do is stop holding up progress and pay the vendors when they do the work. The problem a lot of vendors have when they come to the Village of Dalton is a lot of times you guys don't want to pay people when they do a service. So they skeptical.
No. I'm not in the Village of Dalton, and I know that's not how it goes down. What the problem is, you do not follow procedures. When I first started covering on Tiffany Henyard, I specifically said, and I don't know if you guys remember, Tiffany Henyard has all the tools in her toolbox to be a great mayor, but she refuses to. She sat on the board She sat on the board. Everything that she's doing now, she talked about the past mayor, the stuff that he did. Everything that she's doing now, she talked about the mayor that they got rid of. I think his name was Riley. She talked about him. Was picketing on at City Hall with some of the people. So everything that she's doing now, she's everything that she talked about in the past, she's doing now. So she has all the tools, all the capabilities of being a great mayor. She just refuses to do that. She knows the protocols. She's been on the trustees board for I think 8 years prior to her getting this mayor job. So she knows what to do, but she refuses because she let that power and the money go to her head. Another thing I want to point out, I'll pull it up later, but the salary, that's another thing that they probably get them on, the FBI or whoever is going to investigate them, probably the attorney general. Her salary went up significantly. She started, Mayor Riley, when he got unseated, he was making $20,000 a year. Tiffany came in making $20,000 a year. The next year was $40,000. Right now, they're paying her $64,000 a year over a township that's 20,000 people, and this is probably a part-time position. She makes $64,000 a year, just the mayor, and no telling what she's making in the township. I think it was $220 the last time I checked. She's the Thornton Township supervisor. So she's close to making $300,000 a year. And then on top of that, you don't even follow the protocols. Not because she doesn't know, it's because she doesn't want to. That's the worst thing about it. She does not want to. She wants to be the queen and be all on every bulletin. Every bulletin she wants to be on. Like she's famous or some shit. Where is that YouTube video or TikTok video? She act like she famous. And she refuses. Is this it? Nope. She just refuses to she refuses to do her job properly, and she knows how to do it.
She blows the fuck. This is what we get. She like the principal of Abbott Elementary. Like, why the fuck is your face out of everybody on every motherfucking page? Every motherfucking page. All of it. Like, the kids. She care about the kids. No, this bitch care about her big bomb ass face being posted on every fucking thing. She's a weirdo. She looking out for her people and her people only gonna come to my motherfucking building sitting here trying to hold off and threaten to fail motherfucker because this bitch want us to use her specific people. Yeah, that's why she's fucking corrupt. That's why she's fucking weird. That's why she fucking needs to go.
She's strong arming businesses, other businesses, to use the people that she has in place because she probably getting a kickback. Because why else would you do that? You're threatening businesses to fail the inspection or whatever, or not grant them their license of occupancy because they didn't use the people you think they should use. They're not a city building. You don't have a right. She doesn't have the right to do that. But instead, like I said, she has all the means to do a good job and she refuses to. She refuses to. Now back to this debacle.
Are either coming to help us. And as it relates to anything that you speaking of that's past tense, I keep telling y'all, call my phone. Y'all don't call me. Y'all don't ask for anything. Y'all don't even communicate with me. But when we get here, you grandstand as though you do, and you don't. Because whatever the issue is that you're saying haven't got resolved, could have got resolved before we got here. But now when we talk about the kids, I got a problem with y'all not approving this warrant list for the kids. So y'all gonna stand on not paying them. They will get paid. I'm telling y'all residents out of my mouth. It's funds that I did advocate for. The funds is in our bank account because I told them to make the funds payable to the Village of Dollar, and they did that. Any other discussion?
Yes. I just
Go ahead.
wish we can see them funds. And also, if we put in things, I communicate with the village administrator, sent an email. I said, could you pay this? Could you pay this? I did everything I asked for the vendors who did the MSWAP, and it's still not paid. So hopefully next meeting, it'll be on the warrant list. Now it's known public that they haven't been paid. Hopefully next meeting will be on the warrant list and they can get paid, the vendors that worked. Thank you.
Well, hopefully by next meeting, you will communicate with your mayor and you will get.
Why do I need to communicate with the mayor to get stuff paid? That's not how it works, Tiffany. That's not how it works. I shouldn't have to call the mayor to get something paid. When I know the proper channel, I'm on the board of trustees and I know the proper channels and I'm following the proper channels. So every time I need to communicate with the administrator, I need to call you two, which doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We got a new member, Ahmad. Ahmad, thank you for supporting the channel. That reminds me, if you guys want to really support the channel, you could become a channel member. I think the membership is $3.99. And I'm going to start putting on member only content. And that will be morely business credit kind of stuff. Just stuff that I do with my business and how I make money. Anyway, so why do we need to talk to the mayor to pay a bill? Does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense. And so Teflon Tiffany is in a rage right now.
Get some understanding of whatever your issue is, and it will get resolved before we get to the next meeting. So we're not doing this pony show. I will hope that you will contact me and I can resolve whatever the issue is, trustee. And also for the record, as long as it's not political, it can get paid. But anything y'all have that's trustees, tea with the trustees that's political will not get paid with the taxpayer dollars.
Why would tea with the trustees be political?
You guys had political things there. You guys, hold on. Y'all out of order. Hold on. You guys had things that tea with the trustees that was political, and you are submitting bills for that. We will not be paying that at the village. Taxpayers will not pay for that. You guys pay out of your pocket or go find someone to sponsor that item. So I'm just letting you know. So
I got a question.
Go ahead.
The MS Walk wasn't political. And from my understanding, it was a food giveaway at Melanie Fitness. And there was a bunch of stuff passed out political. We seen it on Facebook. That's political. The MS Walk wasn't political. The DJ for the MS Walk wasn't political. That was a community event that you were at. They should get paid. That's all I'm saying.
We're not talking about your MS Walk. I just said tea with the trustees. See how you deflect and straight or something else? I said exactly what I meant, which is tea with the trustees. Said nothing about your MS Walk. So as long as we can get that resolved, it's okay. All right, any more discussion? All right, do you guys want to amend this or you want to leave it the way it is? Trustees.
I have one thing to amend, the discount fence. I vote to amend that only.
Okay, so you just want to put the discount fence back in paying?
Correct.
Okay, but you don't want to do paint on me or the party plan?
Mayor, when you follow the proper channels, that means that everything's supposed to come before the vote for a vote. You don't vote on it after it's been paid. You had the event already. The proper procedure is to come before the event to get it approved, and then you go from there.
Okay,
That's
you
the
got
proper,
to
that's the
talk to your
proper
board, man.
procedure here.
okay, so
You asking us to pay something that you're going to pay anyway. So why are we even talking about it?
the proper procedure is to make sure it's on the warrant list, which it is. And I'm telling you that I have raised money for the items that I am paying for the kids. So I don't understand what is the hassle of you guys saying no to something that's not coming out of taxpayers' pockets. That's my issue.
The magic word is receipts. If
We
we
have
have the
receipts.
receipts,
She don't have the receipts because she's lying through her teeth. You guys put in the chat, let me know if you think she has the receipt. Tiffany, she don't keep up receipts. She remind me of myself. I got tons of receipts. You know how you see those ladies with all the receipts in their bag and be like, you gonna clean out those bags? I need my receipts. She don't have none, or she loses her receipts because she got all her stuff crumpled up like this. She got it all crumpled up in her bag. She don't got no receipts. And she sells a lot of wolf tickets and talk. She don't have any. I bet you she never showed any of the receipts. And reason why I'm saying that, because Belcher, in that very last meeting, they were saying that they would supposedly get this $5-6 million grant, and it never showed up on the account balance. So they wanted them to approve a budget with this $6 million supposedly fictitious grant. Supposedly they wanted them to approve this budget of hoping and dreaming pie in the sky grant that they were supposedly get to have in their bank account. And you can't make a budget off of, hey, I hope I get this $6,000 or $6 million. No, you're not supposed to do that. So she doesn't have the receipts. She just selling wolf tickets. She just talking, and she's calling it a show and pony show, and she's doing the show and pony.
You have
Then
it.
let's pay it.
It's in
Well,
front of
show
you.
the receipts.
Okay,
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm
Thank you.
prepared. It's gonna get taken care of. I did raise the money for this, but I'm just saying we fighting over something for kids. That don't make sense to me. It's an event for the youth. Y'all say y'all for the youth, but then yet y'all get up here and you don't want to pay people that put on a show for the youth.
You see how she gaslighting. It's for the youth. It's for the youth. Okay. We know it's for the youth, but still, that doesn't mean you go in debt for the youth. That doesn't mean you start bouncing checks for the youth. The youth would not appreciate us bouncing checks because we had a 4th of July party. They wouldn't appreciate that.
Understand what's the argument in that? But yet all your friends, all y'all stuff that you want me to pay it, right? But you don't want to pay something for kids. Come on, man. Residents, pay attention.
It's
Okay, trustee, you don't even have the floor. Thank
may I
you.
be recognized?
I'm not done.
Huh?
I'm not done.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So
She just
moving
being-
forward, if anybody have an issue with a bill, I say this every board meeting. Reach out, call my phone, ask me questions before we get here, so it don't look like we're going back and forth over bills, because we can resolve this before we get to this point here. Go ahead, trustee.
No, I don't have nothing else.
All right. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because I guess the confusion comes whereas how it's supposed to work even last year and how it generally worked. Because we're responsible for our finances, it's important for us to know what's being spent. Even though it's for the children, everything has a budget. There's budget lines and there's things put in place. And I heard you say that there's donations. That's fine. We're not being funny when she asked the question, how much do we have in donations? It's important because we want to know if we're spending the money, we still have to make sure the money is there. So when we look at this list and I see $5,000 to $6,000 worth of items on here for the 4th of July, but I don't even see the expenses for the fireworks himself. So I don't know how much the fireworks itself will be. So that's in addition to what we already have. So when the question is presented, how much do you have? We're not being funny. We're really saying, okay, maybe when you tell us how much you have, if you say, well, I raised $5,000, the total was $15,000 and I want the board to approve $10,000. That's different than you just charging things and not bringing it over the board when we have a $1,500 ordinance in place, meaning you're supposed to bring it to the board and say, hey, these are the plans. Are you all going to approve it so that we can have this event on the 4th? But when you tell us afterwards, we're just saying, hey, how much is this total? Because we know that the fireworks itself isn't on this warrant list. So at some point we have to pay for it. So it's not a matter of not wanting to pay anything for the children. To me, it's just a matter of having a budget put in place. You communicate with your trustees so we know, because we are responsible for financing. So I can't say enough or stress enough that it's never a matter of what we're paying. It's simply a protocol put in process, because if we do go bankrupt or if it does present a matter where we can't afford things, then that becomes an issue. So when we ask, hey, how much is the budget? How much did you raise? If you tell us, then this will run much smoother. If you decide to say to us, hey, board, I have these expenses for the 4th of July. This is what we're doing. This is what I want you to approve. It'll be different. It's just that we're sidetracked when you come up here and you present things that's already being paid out. And then when we say we don't want to pay it, then it's a problem. We don't want it to be a problem. We just kind of wanted to figure it out so that while the residents are here, we all know where the tax dollars are being spent, where they're being allocated.
She sound very sane and legal, very sane and knowledgeable. I said legal, knowledgeable. She sounds very sane, common sense. What what is the problem of what she's stating right here? I don't see anything she's trying to explain it. I don't think she needs to explain it because Tiffany's been in her position for 8 years prior to her becoming the mayor. But this is what Tiffany's going to say.
That's the only concern. So I don't want it to be a matter of us not paying for the youth. We don't mind that, but just moving forward, if you can say to us, hey, this is what's being spent when it's over $1,500, follow the protocol. That way we're not up here going back and forth. We can know what you're spending. We won't be sidetracked. We're all on one accord. We know what's being spent and we can just move forward. So it's not a matter of going back and forth. We really just want to know because we are responsible for the finances. So every time I ask a question, I don't, the hostility, we're just wondering. We don't want to go back and forth. We're just wondering so that we all know why we're all here. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Just so you're no longer wondering and you got the facts,
that is?
I normally tell you guys exactly what we're spending, what we're doing as it relates to you guys getting the warrant list. When you get the warrant list, you guys' job is to call and ask questions if you are concerned about something on the warrant list. But then you'll wait until we have an actual board meeting. Then you'll get here, then y'all will grandstand and say, well, we want to pay for this and we want to.
The problem, you see how she said that. I put on and say what we're spending and what we're doing. No, that's not how it works. You want the whole responsibility of the spending, and it's not on you. That's why you're in this situation. You're supposed to vote on it. The board is supposed to approve it. Then you spend the money. Then it goes on the warrant list. And then they say, okay, yeah, we did approve this. So yeah, write the check. Send out the check and pay these people. But you did it backwards. You said, I'm going to tell you what we're spending and what we're doing. And if you have a problem with it, I'm going to put it on the warrant list. And if you got a problem with it, you need to call me. That's not how it works. That's you're backwards. And she knows this, but she refuses to follow the rules. She just refuses to.
Pay for that. You had ample time to go over with me, ask me questions, and say, Mayor, what are we doing with this amount? And why are we paying for that? And by you being over you, trustee, I would thought you would have made sure you took care of the youth. You guys want to pay for a tea with the trustees and DJs and other little crazy stuff. But when it comes to the youth, it's a problem. I have a problem with it, and I always will, regardless of if I raise the money or not. You guys should pay for the youth. And the reason why I'm saying it is we have a budget. As long as I'm within the budget, I'm allowed to spend within the budget.
No,
it
you're
is
not.
for community.
You're not.
I'm not doing nothing illegal. I'm not doing nothing underhanded. It is for community. But we always have to fight over.
You do have a budget that's allocated to certain things, but it has to be voted on. Just because you have a budget of community, whatever, that doesn't mean you spend it. You still have to vote on that particular activity. So you could get mad about it, but that's how it works. That's how it works when you got a board of trustees. And reason why you have a board of trustees, so you will be checked on your misappropriation of funds or misuse of funds.
Over things like this, which we shouldn't even be debating about when it comes to our kids. We say we want to do better, it starts with us. And until we do better, then community will get better. But all this back and forth over just little dollars, I don't appreciate it. When you guys want me to approve things for your team with the trustees, but you can't approve something that was actually awesome event this last Saturday. It was really great to see everybody coming out. I appreciate y'all for just showing up, showing out. And the board of trustees didn't even support that. That's a shame. Community, you always be first for me. All right, end of discussion. Let's move on. Call the roll on the vote. Discount fence. Are you amending that motion for her trustee house?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so clerk, you got that? They're amending their motion and adding discount fence. And who's second?
That's this is the problem with Black women in leadership. They all that lip box. She used the word lip boxing. She talks too much. She didn't have to do all that. She likes to belittle the people that's working with her. You didn't have to do all that. I forget what the girl's name. I think her last name is Brown. But anywho, she was very nice about it. Nobody gave her, any back. Belcher was kind of snippy, but the other lady, she was like, no, this is the reason why we're asking about this, blah, blah, blah. But Teflon Tiffany had to be ghetto with the stuff. She had to be ghetto. We got another super chat. Misty Lane. Great professional show. Fact driven. I try to keep the facts straight. I try to keep the facts straight. Tiffany is off the chain. And she's mad about this.
Are you amending your second with the discount fence?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
I'm not going to go through that part, but, so they didn't pay the bill. Well, according to Teflon Tiffany, she paid the bill. She paid the bill, and she didn't care what they talking about. She was going to pay it anyway. And that's why the other trustee got mad. Like, why are we voting on it? You going to pay it anyway. So what's the problem? This other one. Now, I remember I told you this Carmen Carlisle. Carmen Carlisle, she is the one that writes the checks, okay? She's the one that writes the checks. She has in her past where she filed for bankruptcy and she she was convicted of writing bad checks. Don't know how much the checks were, but she was convicted of it. In this one particular video, and this is the old video, where Tiffany, she's advocating for them not to retroact background checks. So if she hired them in, she don't want them to go back. She's just saying anybody moving forward now, we could do a background check. But anybody that we hired prior, or that my people that I hired, basically, we can't go back. And she's using this as like it's a legal thing, and it's not. And Trustee House was like, okay, are you a lawyer? When was the last time you got a lawyer? Where's your lawyer certificate at? And I've known employers do a background check after you were hired and they fired you after they found out you had a bad record. I know several people that have been fired because even though they put on the application, yeah, I have such and such and such offense, and they got hired in and they fired them. Not because they lied on the application, is because they background. Oh yeah, we still ran the background on you, since you got that background, we're gonna fire you. So she's trying to advocate for them not to do this. Why? It's because she loves criminals. She really loves criminals. That's if it comes up. She really loves criminals, and this one particular woman that she hired to write the checks or to balance the checks, she has a problem with balancing checkbooks. So why would you hire her? To me, that doesn't make any sense. While that's coming up, let me show you this one video.
these trustees sit here and put us in the negative with things because they do not pay people. So
Lying bitch. You put that lying bitch on the stand.
So a lot of people be afraid to come and do work here at the village because we are known for not paying our vendors.
All you do is scam, lie to try to get what you want. Ain't you tired?
I know that we have an electronic warrant list, but then on this AP list, there are some items on here that have already been paid with the credit card. So I'm trying to understand why they're on the AP warrant list versus the electronic warrant list.
Okay, Janice.
And then it said it was a balance of $4,726 that was paid with the credit card. Juicy Crab, Alabama.
This shit just got real.
And it's Jim and Nick's Barbecue.
Are you saying I'm stealing?
Which was a township event in Alabama.
Gotcha.
Then it was Madison Street Family Restaurant that has no receipt attached to it. And then it was Pete's that was paid a credit card.
Hold the fuck on.
Well, we shout out to World Cassettes. I believe that's the one who compiled this video together on TikTok.
It's a township event. It's not a township event.
Fuck you. Oh, you got a big mouth.
Anybody can sign up for a conference and go to it and get educated.
When you went to Alabama, was it did you go as a township supervisor or as the mayor Dalton?
Why you worry about how I went?
I'm just asking the question. It's discussion. I just asked the
It's
question.
discussion, but I don't have to tell you how I went.
You kissed my ass.
Okay,
If it's not on the list,
if I don't
if
know,
it's not on the list,
I'm the one that got you the money. Now, please answer.
it's discussion now.
Okay,
so here we go.
I don't go.
Janice, can you answer the
I
question?
don't go
My
anywhere.
Tangenique telling you what to say.
I'll be damned. I'll.
Because remember, y'all ain't got the money, right?
Shut up, bitch.
Man, y'all got the money. Y'all do. So stop saying township
Okay,
event.
I'm
So
asking the
that's why
question.
I won't answer now.
correcting you, trustee. That's why I'm correcting you because you got it wrong. That's
Okay,
not
so
true.
did you go as the mayor or did you go as the township supervisor?
What the fuck happened? Take much more of this shit.
Ain't no Q&A for Tiffany Henyard.
Did you steal the money?
Discussion.
And I just told you. I just asked you.
Okay.
Shit, keep up.
Do we have a tentative budget of any additional expenses for Greenwood?
Yes, we do.
Okay, can you tell me the budget amount?
Sure, I'll get you a budget.
So you don't know that we're about to spend another $40,000 this month for this Greenwood
You
project?
just asked me and I answered. So you can assume whatever you want.
They're looking at everything I do, and you let this happen in public? You're giving it to him. I'm going to jail. You understand? I'm going to prison.
I'm not
If you see
assuming
the budget
anything.
from
I'm
me,
looking on the
then-
paper.
Then you can hold me accountable for the numbers that you're throwing out.
I'm not
Don't throw
assuming
nothing out.
anything. I'm just reading
you
on
are
paper.
assuming.
Asking all them questions. Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
I'm not putting on the show. I'm
You are.
asking you a
Go ahead.
question. If you
I
know it's
answered.
in my viewpoint, then you answer.
I
Then my
answered. Go
last
ahead.
question was the $17,550 for the skates. Are those skates for the entire community?
Yes, it is.
Quick, you was good on your feet that time, man.
They spent $17,000 on some skates, some roller skates. What kind of skates are these?
Okay, and where are they located?
Why would I tell you that right now?
Are they in possession of the village of Dalton?
Why-
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Then the reason why the Greenwood is being discussed is because when you see this, I know they say grants. It's not funny, but yet this is coming from the general budget. So where are the grants? Hey, shut up! Damn it! When I look and see $130,000 for epoxy floor for the skating rink.
It's your mayor, Tiffany Henyard. You the people's mayor. Bitch, please.
Yes, it looks nice, but can we afford it?
I will not be approving every bill until these individuals are paid.
They spent $130,000 on a skating rink outside. In Illinois, it get cold. So why would you do that? Are they going to turn it into an ice skating rink during the cold? But would that ruin the epoxy floor if they put ice on it? I'm not for sure. But epoxy floor, they spent $130,000. That, to me, that's crazy. And are they charging people to go into the skating rink? Can somebody give me a lifeline? What's going on with that? What is going on with that? Got another super chat. Thank you for the $10, John Luna. A great channel with great content. Thank you. So Tiffany, she's gonna she's she's running amok. And she feels like she doesn't have to answer to anyone. Now, this video finally showed up. Now, in this particular video, now they're going back and forth. I guess someone was fired and they wanted to pay a severance package to this person. And Tiffany, she thought that she would give Trustee House, they already approved to pay this lady a severance package. And they wanted extra comment. Tiffany tried to veto it, and the board ended up overturning her decision. So they have to pay the lady this severance package. And so it's been a year and they haven't mailed the ladies the severance package money out. So House was asking, since the lawyer was online, hey, why haven't we paid this lady money? And Trustee Henyard thought she wanted to give her not even political, her lawyer commentary, even though she's not a lawyer, of why she thinks they should not pay this lady a severance package. But anyway, this is where they're at right now. Then it's going to get into what I was talking about, where she act like she's a lawyer. And you're not.
I'm going to get it tomorrow, and then something comes up, or I blow a tire or something along those lines, if that makes sense.
I understand. I appreciate it. And I think I have one other thing too that I want to say, because we spend a lot of time on it, and I think it seems like at every page we get a separate objection. If we can bring all objections at one time, that would be very helpful. But thank you very much. That concludes my statement on this. I don't know if any other board member might have a comment.
Yeah, can I be recognized?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I see Chris. I seen Chris on here. So what, I guess, can we get clarity so we cannot continue to keep going back and forth for everything that's going on? If something comes in front of the board votes on it, it's approved. If it's vetoed by the mayor, then overturned. What's the turnaround time of checks being issued and moving forward? Because now we're going into a whole nother year. So maybe we need to, y'all talking about policy and procedure, maybe there needs to be some type of policy of the turnaround time for this, because even not to bring up anything personnel or whatever, but in prior conversations, we had employee said that they were terminated fairly, and here it is 6 months later, we're issuing out money to them, a large sum of money. So if Chris or anyone can just, Attorney Vaselli, I heard you make the statement that it was approved. So if it was approved and they issued checks, then prior to conversation that I've heard, why has this check not been cut? That's the cut and dry answer. Why hasn't it been cut?
Okay.
Chris.
So duly noted, trustee. So
no, Chris is on here. I'm waiting for Chris to respond.
Chris is not going to respond. So I'm responding. So thank you.
Why he can't respond?
Because I'm responding to you.
Why Chris can't respond?
Okay, we're not gonna do this. Go back and forth. I think that he has been given a response from our village trustee. Excuse me. You have been given a response from our village attorney. The attorney said he will get back to you guys within 24 hours, and he will do that. So we're gonna move forward.
Mayor, I want to know for future reference, not only just for this incident. I need to know for future references.
And that's fine. And he will get you a response within the 24 hours that he just told Trustee House.
But is that for everything across the board?
Whatever you just asked, he'll get your response. It's not a problem. So the attorney will respond to you. So we're going to move on to the next item. The next item is E, and it is status of legislative council request for a memo regarding mayoral security detail. Trustee House.
We skipped one, Mayor. We didn't do D.
Oh, okay. Well, we can start with the mayoral detail and then we go back to D.
On this one, I have no discussion at this time, unless any other board member do. I have had some communication with Administrator Freeman. I believe some progress may be made, so I'll update at the next board meeting.
All right, the next one is status of background checks retroactive to May 7, 2021, approved by the Board of Trustees. Trustee House.
This one, again, is another item the board had approved. And I just want to see, has that, since the approval, has the background checks being retro to May 7th been implemented? And if not, what delays do we have and what do we need to do to move forward? So, I mean, that could be for yourself or Administrator Freeman.
Okay, so I'll respond to that. Trustee House, as you know, the law states you cannot go backwards. You cannot retroact anything. And I stated this several times at board meetings, and so have the attorneys. So no, nothing is being done going back. I stated that moving forward, we will do background checks on any and everybody that's employed by the Village of Dalton. We have done that. So that did just answer your question.
When you get your law degree.
I've been here. I'm
sorry. I'll say that. I appreciate you gave me my answer. Legislative Council has a different opinion on that, but we will I'll let them discuss it amongst them and come up with a legal answer from the
board meetings, and so have the attorneys. So no, nothing is being done going back. I stated
for yourself or Administrator Freeman.
Okay, so I'll respond to that. Trustee House, as you know, the law states you cannot go backwards. You cannot retroact anything. And I stated this several.
She said you can't retroact anything. Cut it out, Tiffany. You just don't want to get none of your people fired. And look at Freeman. He looking like, pooh, I hope they don't retroact because we had a job.
Time at board meetings, and so have the attorneys. So no, nothing is being done going back. I stated that moving forward, we will do background checks on any and everybody that's employed by the Village of Dalton. We have done that. So that did just answer your question.
When you get your law degree.
I've been here, you know.
I'm sorry. I'll say that.
Well.
I appreciate you gave me my answer. Legislative Council has a different opinion on that, but we will I'll let them discuss it amongst them and come up with a legal answer from the courts. But any other board members have any questions, I'll yield to them.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is there any paperwork on that he could submit to the trustees?
Yes, James can speak with you guys about that. James, once you get time, the legal opinion of they cannot retroact anybody, go backwards. They have to go forward.
Absolutely, I will provide something, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, here none.
So you see, she doesn't want to retroact to check people, background check for people that's already been hired in, which is not a legal thing. It is not a law that they can't places of employment. They could do whatever the hell they want to do. If they want to start doing drug tests, that's what they could do, unless you're in some type of union. And still with the union, they still could do willful employment as well. There's ways around it. I just wanted, so she doesn't want her people to get fired. That's basically what the problem is. She doesn't want her people to get fired, and she wants people to trust her like she's a lawyer. That's basically like she's a lawyer. Came across this post. It says, wow. When are you fed up, Thornton Township? Enough is enough. Thornton Township residents, meet your newest appointed township trustee. Do you want someone who has been found guilty of writing bad checks processing your checks? Why would the Village of Dalton hire this person to work in the water department processing checks? The water department are a bunch of frauds, and that's why the bills are never correct. It looks like she was in Ohio when this offense happened. That's where it looks like she was in Ohio. Some of these comments are kind of hilarious. Somebody said, so you appointed someone with sticky fingers to handle the finances of the township. Not a smart move at all. It says, according to state law, they put the section, whatever, any person holding office under the Constitution of the state of Illinois and every elected officials of government or of any school district who is convicted in any court of state of Illinois or any United States of a felony, bribery, perjury, or other infamous crime as understood in section 1 of article 13 of the Constitution 1970 shall be upon conviction ineligible to continue in such office. Now, I'm no lawyer, but would this make Miss Carmen ineligible to hold such position? Passing bad checks check is a felony. Well, she didn't get convicted of a felony. I think it said it's a misdemeanor or whatever. Another Henyard employee, not an independent voice scam. Somebody put she was denying residents food at the last gathering at the outdoor Taj Mahal ice skate ice rink. She is, in words of Eric Mays, a nasty politician. When she crashed the governor's visit to the senior building in Dalton, she was all meek and mild. She was walking around asking the ignorant old seniors, as she called them, did they need anything? Y'all know me. I was right behind her asking them out loud so she could hear me. Did you all see the video where she was calling seniors ignorant? And I think this is it. Yeah, I've seen this video.
Up to half off hundreds of creative gifts for everybody.
This is Carmen Carlisle. She's off the chain. This lady is off the chain. And she started calling people names during the meeting. She's trying to praise what is Mayor Dalton, and then but she's insulting everybody else.
Everybody up here talk crazy to everybody. Disrespect goes across the board from everybody. And guess what? What if we try to come together? Do y'all think the things that could happen if y'all would just try to bring a little positive energy? But y'all come in here with y'all minds already made up to not work together, to not be together, to be segregated. And I'm sure it was a time where black people couldn't use toilets, couldn't go to outings, couldn't eat in restaurants. And we have an amazing opportunity to be and to do anything we want. And this is what we choose to do. We choose to be separated. We choose to be divided. It's so sad. It's so like dishonoring. I mean, we're black people. We have come from a long way. Couldn't even have the opportunity. We had to use the outhouses at one point in time. Not me per se, but our people. And we've come so long. Yes, see what I'm saying? Ignorant old people. And what do you expect from the
Why you're talking about you came from a long way and you didn't have to use an outhouse, but you don't know if they're old. They might have came from that segregation period, and you call them ignorant. Those are the ones who fought for you to stand up there with your quick weave in your shredded jeans, being disrespectful in your eyelashes. Being you don't even like yourself. You wearing so much stuff on your head and your face. You don't like yourself. But you want to disrespect everybody else. You want to act like, oh, you miss Martin Luther King. And you want to talk bad to the elderly people. Shut up.
The generations to come. This is the example.
Quiet,
You know what I'm
please.
saying?
Order.
You know, but then they say I'm being disrespectful, but all the disrespect, man, if we come in here, respect is across the board. Respect is something that's earned. It ain't something that's just given because you 100 years old. Respect is earned. And I think if people would come in here and be respectful, I think that it would be a different energy and it could be a different thing. I support you, Mayor, and even you, Andrew Holmes. I think it's really cool. Can you be quiet, please? No, exactly.
Okay, Chief.
Enough.
And I do too.
Enough.
And I do
Enough.
too. Be quiet, disrespectful, ignorant. You see what I'm saying? But Andrew Holmes, you are a super loyal person. You are a super loyal person, and I commend you. I do. You a clown. Look what you got on. You know what I mean? But Andrew Holmes, people can say what they want to say about you, but loyalty and being a person of integrity and good character, it goes a long way. A lot of you all supported Mayor when she first came on board. And then you flipped. You all pretended. And I just commend you, Andrew Holmes. And I want to say,
Thank you. You've
keep
reached the
going.
end of your 3 minutes.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up. You sound like a fool. She's saying that a lot of people was supporting the mayor when she first became mayor. Yeah, they probably did believe in her. But then they found out how she acts in her true self. Her true self, she's real ignorant. And just like she's ignorant, she hired you. And you're just as ignorant. So that's why they don't support her no more. She's with the shenanigans and she's crooked. So she's calling her fake, but like I said, birds of a feather flock together. And Carmen Carlisle, she's a ratchet ghetto. And she shouldn't be in office either. She shouldn't be in office. This is about Andrew Holmes. Somebody put this on here. I think this is from Pink Book Lessons. This is Pink Book Lessons. And I found another video. This fool acting like they up there dancing around. Now, Andrew Holmes, he is the guy that always go around and something happen. He's like a fake what do you call a fake Al Sharpton. He's a fake Al Sharpton. He a low budget Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton finds anything that that you could activate the Black Lives Matter movement or cause something that call racist or something to be on TV. That's who Andrew Holmes is. And Andrew Holmes, she did not like Andrew Holmes before she became mayor. And all of a sudden, she likes him because he's a big supporter of her. And reason why he's a big supporter of her, because he's trying to be in the limelight. He want to be famous too. And this is from
with
Pink Book
ties to
Lessons.
Montgomery, Alabama. So when he had the opportunity to join the City Girl Mayor, Teflon Tiff, for the $22,000 field trip to walk across the bridge in Selma, Alabama, it was a no-brainer for him. An opportunity to not only take a vacation back to an area that he was very familiar with, but to also get some publicity. That's because in front of the cameras and on the news are his favorite places to be. And with Tiffany Tahoe making sure she can also get some camera time.
Mayor of the village of Dalton, and I'm also the supervisor of Owen Township, which is the largest in the state of Illinois.
How many times have you come to the bridge? That's my first question.
This is my first year, so I'm excited. Okay. I'm all about the movement and the progress of developing areas such as South Alabama.
Okay.
So she can make a name for herself outside of the Southland of Chicago, where she's a self-proclaimed, quote, most powerful woman. It's not surprising that Andrew Holmes was right behind her. Tiffany Tahoe is happy to have Andrew Holmes by her side now as the only trustee of Dalton that's so loyal to the mayor that you will never see him holding her accountable for her actions. He condones it all and seems to be a part of a large team of people assisting the mayor with covering up all of her dirty deeds. Andrew Holmes is really popular with the ladies, as you can see him popping it for female supporters here, while Teflon Tiff held his shirt like his puppet master, which ironically depicts their current working relationship.
Look at this fool. Y'all see this?
Andrew Holmes
like, really? You twerking and you like 70-11? Like, really? You 70-11 and you twerking. We got another super chat. Dexter Matthews, thank you. Great coverage. Lock her up already. Andrew Holmes is twerking. And these memes on this video is hilarious.
Easily submitted to the mayor's power as he wants nothing but to be in the good graces of powerful people. He's been doing that for decades as he worked for many local Chicago politicians. As close as they are now, it may be hard for some to believe that initially the city girl mayor tried to block him from participating in Dalton politics. As a trustee, Tiffany Tahoe pushed against Andrew Holmes and tried to get him kicked off the ballot when he ran for the same trustee position he's got now.
Reason why she tried to get him took off the ballot because he's not a resident of Dalton. And he shouldn't be a trustee. He doesn't live in Dalton. So he shouldn't be a trustee. I believe he lives in Chicago and works in Chicago.
Yeah, the only trustee she can count on now to allow her to get away with her crimes is the one she tried to block from becoming a trustee in the first place. Why? Because Andrew Holmes wasn't qualified to be an elected official of Dalton because he was not a Dalton resident. That's a requirement. And although Andrew Holmes is in Cook County, Chicago, he is not in Dalton. So Tiffany Tahoe was right about that part. He wasn't qualified. However, he was allowed to run anyway, as the previous crooked mayor vouched for Andrew Holmes, and Tiffany Tahoe definitely wasn't happy about that, so she also wanted the corrupt mayor out of there. She ran against him. And get this, Andrew Holmes also joined the race. Now that was a very tight race in the primary, but Tiffany won the primary, and it was already determined whoever won the primary would end up beating out the conservative candidate in the general election because the area is pretty liberal, and there was no way that a red candidate would garner any support in the village. I was mostly in Chicago.
And she announced her as she's a progressive candidate. That's what she announced her mayorship campaign on, as a progressive leader. Hi, my name is Tiffany Henyard, and I'm running as a progressive. That's how she sounded to me. I don't know if she sounded like that, but she was running as a progressive candidate. And Andrew Holmes, he was trying to make his way to what is it? Stardom. He was trying to make his way to stardom, riding Tiffany's coattail. I'm trying to find if I could find this announcement of her running for mayor. It was actually hilarious, this announcement. I know that's not it. I'll find it. But yeah, so Andrew Holmes is off the chain. Andrew Holmes, he's off the chain. I got somebody in the chat or on the stream. I guess they knocked themselves out. But if you come on the stream, the link is there. If you come on the stream, you need to make sure you have your name put up in the comment or the name box. Okay? If you're trying to join and make a comment. Let me just put that link in the queue again. Yeah, so Andrew Holmes is off the chain and he's an opportunist. That's what he is. He's a low budget Al Sharpton and he's an opportunist. And Tiffany needs somebody to ride their coattail together. She needs some support. So that's why she loves Andrew Holmes. That's why she gives shout outs to him. Even in this meeting. She's giving shout outs to him.
Right, I have 3 questions. Will all residents receive digital
Holmes for always supporting me. And coming up in February, so make sure you stay tuned for any updates from the mayor's office. I want to thank community for just trying their best to stay with us as we transition. I think that things are moving along strongly and with a lot of progress. And I want to thank Trustee Holmes for always supporting me in any of my initiatives here in the Village of Dalton. One thing I love about Trustee Holmes is no matter what, he try to get the job done. So I just want to give you some accolades real quick, Trustee. I know people are like, why are you doing that? He really does the job in the will of the people. He's always on the ground running, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. He will always be a team player as it relates to just people. I'll say that people, because sometimes people lose themselves when they in government, and they got to understand, and I'm saying for anybody, that you have to be a human being before anything. These are temporary. I always say that everybody are bench warmers, include myself. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. You're here today, gone today, and ain't here today, gone tomorrow. So I always try to advise everybody to love on each other and continue to communicate with each other. That's all I got, I think. But just make sure y'all pick up your phone and call some of these residents and just tell them that y'all love them, because a lot of people are really suffering and hurting due to COVID. And you guys know that a lot of our schools are closed.
Okay, Tiffany, stop it. She giving out all her praises and stuff like that and preaching to people like she just so in love with people. And she's just for the people. Stop it with the madness. This other video. Now, we talked about $7 million in deficit. This was from their last board meeting, their special board meeting. That Trustee House was discussing, Jason House.
All the way until last month, we were receiving monthly financial reports. This month, we did not receive a monthly financial report the way that we traditionally would. When we talk about the deficit, last fiscal year through May, the deficit was $2.5 million in our operating account. This year, through the report we got, which was September 30th, I pulled that up as you were speaking. So from May through September, there was an additional $4.2 million of deficit. So you couple those two together, the deficit is growing and it's approaching $7 million. And I will share that financial report. We have not received anything this month. And my concern, and sometimes you kind of joke your way through some of the pain because it really is painful. But we speak how in different meetings, Trustee Belcher will bring a lease or an invoice, and then the retaliation on the next month is we don't get access to the accounting system. Here, we talk month after month about our deficit and what it is, and now we're not receiving the financial information, and as if it's a punishment to the Board of Trustees. And I again keep encouraging, put it on the website where it belongs. It's not it is a detriment in terms of our ability to do our job, and sometimes calling this information out, that's what we're left with if we try to work with the administration
and they refuse to give regular information. Like, this is not even hard. It's almost like asking your name. Why you need to know my name? It's just way too hard, and that's what we're faced with sometimes. But Clerk, you had a comment?
Yeah, so they're suffering in Dalton Village. They're suffering, and
There's nothing more powerful.
I don't think the deficit is going to go away. I think it's going to increase. They're approaching probably like 10 million. They're approaching 10 million, and the only way they'll be able to stop this if they get Tiffany out of office. That's the only way. That's the only way if they will be able to get Tiffany out of office and her cronies. Salaries. Now, you can go online and look at government salaries. And you could look up people's salaries for whatever government official it is. This is just the village of Dalton. Now, Tiffany Henyard, right now, she's making $64,000 a year. It says 72% higher than the average, 92% percent higher than the median salary in the village of Dalton. She's making $64,000 a year. The average annual wage in village of Dalton is 37. The median is 33. In 2021, she was making 39. Tiffany was making $39,000 in 2021. In 2020, she was making $25,000. In 2019, $25,000. I don't know how accurate this is because I think she was a trustee then. I think the trustees only get like $10,000 a year. So, but if we go to Carmen Carlisle is making $51,000 a year. She's the person that writes the checks. They said over the water department. I thought she was, the village of Dalton, but maybe not. But she writes the checks, and she makes $51,000 a year. And I wanted to show you what the mayor was making before Tiffany got in. Tiffany gave herself a raise 3 times, which is really ridiculous. I think the mayor was named Riley, right? Is that him? I don't know if that's him. What's Riley's first name? Riley Rogers. Yep, this is him. He was making 61,000. That's what it says. But I thought he was making something way less than that. Maybe, what is this? 2020. 2021, he was making 22,000. You went from 22,000 to 60,000. I don't know how accurate that is. But anyway, she started off making 40,000. I think that's what the newspaper was saying. And now you're making 64,000. So you gave yourself a $20,000 raise. And then all the other people. And what's weird about this, you guys, I don't know why Keith Freeman is not showing up. You don't see him nowhere on this list. Now, did he get hired in 2022 or 2023? I thought he got hired in at 2022 in January of 2022. But he's not on here, which I thought it was weird. And when I did a name search, he's not on there. And his real name is Keith Douglas, I believe. But it's not coming up under that either. But I guess he makes 99,000 a year. And he hasn't been doing his job. He passes the buck a lot. Keith Freeman. He passes the buck a lot, and he doesn't like to own up to the responsibility of being the administrator. Jacqueline, we got another member. Thank you for your support, Jacqueline. Really appreciate you guys. If you like to support the channel, you can always support the channel, become a member, or just a subscriber. Everything helps. So let me just show you this one last video before I get off. And this is what I was talking about, Keith Freeman passing a buck because he doesn't like to own up to his responsibilities. He likes to say that, oh, we're settling in, or I want you to tell me, what do you expect of me, and all that stuff. And it's like, well, we don't want the budget 3 hours before we have to vote on it. I mean, how hard is that? It's nothing hard for you. It's nothing hard about me saying that, can you give me the budget 3 days in advance? What's the problem? And he has a problem with doing his job. And I think one of the problem is because he doesn't have any experience in doing his job. I keep on wanting to go to my history. So this is the finance committee meeting. And this guy got so many excuses. So many excuses. Besides just, hey, do your job.
Idea of what we want. You may have an idea of what you want. The goal is that to get everybody's opinion and to get the budget where the council wants it, right? Everybody that's in the council, to make sure that the department heads have the resources that they need and find that fine line, right? It changes all the time. I've seen budgets change, the day that you're going to pass the budget. So the goal is just to have the conversation, and as we are updating and making changes, then we will constantly send you guys updated information. You guys will have an opportunity to review whatever that information is in whatever time frame and or manner you guys see feasible. I think the question that everyone has right here in terms of communication is feasibility, right? What is your expectation of how we go about this process? Is it every time we change a line item, give you a call, send you an email? Is it every 24 hours or every 48 hours you guys want to update? Is it every 3 days? What is the expectation of the council in terms of when we're making adjustments to budgets? When you guys send us adjustments for the budgets, what's the expectation that we make those revisions, right? Okay. This process to me would seem, because there's so many moving parts and there's so many people involved, it would seem to me like the best way to sort of approach this is to maybe have a conversation with the finance chair, and he can, sort of direct us as to how he would like to be updated, and maybe he can pass the information to you guys. That would be my recommendation. But again, I think it's a conversation to be had about what the expectations are.
So, and you notice this is a finance committee meeting, and the finance chair is not even there. So how can you have a committee meeting and the main guy is not there? Which it doesn't even make any sense. I guess they sent this guy, the administrator, in his place.
Because again, I understand the budget is a long document. I understand it's a ton of money. I understand how important it is. It's taxpayer dollars. But the goal is that when we get you guys something, if there is a period in time in which you need to review it, then we give you guys the amount of time that you guys need. There's certain things that can help those things along. As we're making changes, do you need the document highlighted, right? Do you need section A, this was changed per this person? Again, a lot of it has to do with just, you guys have it, you guys got a chance to look at it. What are you guys' expectations in terms of making changes? Are you guys gonna do it as a council? Are you guys gonna do it as individuals, right? There's a lot of things that happen. You may say, hey, listen, I wanna change line item X, Y, and Z to this, right? Trustee House may say, I wanna change line item this to this. You guys may be in agreement before we even get to here.
Shut up.
What we feel like would be good communication is to get whatever those changes are before we even get here, right? That's the conversation. That's the conversation we need to have about how we communicate. And again, what is a feasible timeline, and making sure that you guys understand that we're trying our best. We have capacity issues, but we are trying our best, and we just want to get it to you in a timely manner, right?
Okay, because and I'm asking because I'm wearing two hats here, right? From a trustee perspective, as you stated earlier, it gets your question is how often should we be updated? So just to answer that question, from a trustee's perspective, I feel as if when changes are made, it would be nice. I'm not asking that you contact the whole board because I understand that could be time consuming. But when there is a change, I do think that the proper measures will be to contact the finance director so that he can contact us. The finance chair, okay. So that he can contact us to make us aware. Okay. And the changes are important to us as trustees, of course, because if something changes, we, like for instance, today, the updated budget that we received is different from the last one. Correct. So I had residents calling me saying, hey, well, what budget are we voting on tonight? And then when I look and see that we have an updated one, and then there's an older one, it's like from a resident's perspective or from a trustee's perspective, I can't answer their questions. Okay. So it looks to them as if I'm either avoiding a question or as if I really don't know. And that's where, from a trustee standpoint, it gets frustrating because it's like if there is a change, just notify us so that we are aware, so that when residents do come to us and ask us, we're informed. Because it's our job to be informed. And to be able to answer their questions. Now, from a resident's perspective, for years I've been keeping up with the budgets, and I know that this process is totally different than
changes to their appropriation.
I want to skip that part because they getting down into the nitty gritty. I don't want to get deep down in the weeds. But you see his mannerism. This is when he first literally just got hired in. Probably 3 months prior to this video, he was just hired in. And throughout this video, he kept on saying that is this a political atmosphere? We're trying to stay neutral, blah, blah, blah. That's his sentiment on this video. But if you notice on this video, he's acting very, very combative. Very combative.
I just want to make sure I abide by the rules, whatever the rules are. I just want to abide by it. I know this isn't a regular meeting, so.
Robert's Rule of Order. Okay.
Y'all respect, let him talk like.
Very, very passive aggressive too. And like I said, one of the assessor keys, she's already stressed how she's kind of afraid of him because that passive aggressiveness, he acts as if he's the nice guy and he's the mean guy.
He let y'all talk. Let him talk.
Yes.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, point of order.
Yeah, just go.
All I want to do, thank you. I appreciate it. Would you please send me a copy of that ordinance?
You know I will.
Also, whenever you get an opportunity, you can send it or I can come pick it up, or whatever you want to do. Madam Clerk, if you could please provide me with a copy of all of the village ordinances, I would appreciate it.
There's no way I can give you all of the village ordinance. You tell me what you need and I'll make sure you get it.
Well, I don't know. I may not be a
Tell me
resident
which
at all.
ordinance you need and I will get it to
I am the village
you.
administrator, and what I'm requesting is, like anyone from the general public is, and I hope that you guys hold them to the same standard as me. If you guys requested a copy of all the ordinances, then you guys would expect me to get you a
That's
copy of the
unreasonable,
ordinances.
right?
Whether I got it to you or not, the expectation would be that you guys got me the ordinances. So what I am requesting, please, is, my name is Keith Freeman. I am the village administrator. My email address is kfreeman@vildolton.org.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I am requesting a copy of all of the village ordinances, any copy that you have, anything that's codified, anything that has not been codified, in any manner in which you give it to. If you could, and I understand, that is tedious. If you could possibly get that to me in any time frame, just let me know when you can get it to me. I'd appreciate it. I'll stop by your office tomorrow, and you can tell me, or if you want to make an appointment, I can make an appointment. You just let me know how you want to do it. I just like a copy of all of the ordinances if you can. Also, please, the adjustments that you made or the amendments that you made to the budget, excuse me, not the budget, but the tax levy. You made a comment that you had a 16-page document. You will receive that 16-page document again prior to us passing the tax levy on the 26th. This was a copy of the, what I sent you was the estimate of the tax levy. And I believe you received that last year on November 22nd. We just didn't have a meeting, so you didn't get it this time. But I'll tell you what, I'll send you that. But you always receive the email. And I went back to the previous year, we're looking around. Every year you got.
You said he received it last year, but that's neither here nor there. You are full of crap. Like I said, notice his mannerisms when he first came in. Now he's off the chain. He's off the chain right here. This passive aggressiveness, this condescending type attitude, and you act like you're so innocent and you're the author of chaos.
You guys receive a copy of the estimates, an email saying what the estimates of the tax levy are for approval, and then you guys, whatever adjustments you're going to make, usually make adjustments later. So I just want to make that clear. The 16-page document he received the same estimate that he just received before. I don't think anybody will dispute that. I just want to note that for the record. I appreciate you guys being silent for that. Let me see. The state ordinance, when we talk about warrant list, I have a state ordinance for the warrant list, but I want to know if there's a state ordinance or an ordinance that defines how you guys go about passing the bills. What's considered a passable bill, what bills shouldn't be approved, what that status is, how do you guys go about that manner? I'm sure there's some type of ordinance. If, for whatever reason, the clerk would send me a copy of the ordinances, I would know when what matters go are approved.
Too
I'm
burdensome.
just requesting information.
Please allow.
I'm just requesting information.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it. I said nothing.
Yeah, please allow.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. So a copy of that. Is this being live streamed? Thank you. Appreciate that. Can I get a copy of? Is this company? Don't trust you. Okay, so I'll get a copy.
But just for the record, please notate that the village media person is here
Yes.
recording it.
Yes.
That's on the books. That's paid by the. So just for the record, he has right. He has James.
Sparrow is
Yes.
here.
So
He's
he also has a copy.
I would like a copy that's being recorded, if you can. If you can, I totally understand. I would just like a copy that's being requested, if you can. The last thing I'll say is that, in terms of working with you guys, it has been contentious at best, but I appreciate every single one of you guys sitting right here, and every single one of you guys. I know that you guys sometimes think that we are smirking at you, and we're laughing at you, that we don't hear your concerns. I hear all of you guys every single time you guys say something. Whether we can answer it or not, the goal is to get it done. We do have a slow process, picking up calls and things like that. There's an overwhelming amount of calls that we get. We will work to fix that. I will say this though, if you guys are gonna go about the process of, I don't know, condemning the administration, anyone in the administration, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and anyone else, I do think that, before you guys decide you wanna do that, if we're gonna stand here and let someone else ridicule the mayor or ridicule myself or make fun of us, or, do funny noises, and then clap afterward, then, maybe for whatever reason, we should start looking each other in the face. If we're gonna laugh at, if you guys want us to behave in a manner in which you feel like for whatever reason we're being respectful to you, and I think for the most part I've been respectful to all of you, I think that maybe we should show some respect too. And because she is not here to stand here and talk to you guys, right?
She was invited.
She wasn't invited. She was not here.
No, they never get invited.
So he's standing up for Tiffany Henyard. And of course he's going to stand up for his boss because he needs his job. He has $100,000 job.
You got an invite. We got a copy of it. You got an invite. We got a copy of it. Now keep it going. Keep it going.
I would like, I did not receive a formal invite. I got a copy of the agenda, so I came. Thank you guys for sending me the agenda.
Just like we get a copy
I
of it.
just like to say, hey, listen, before you guys start talking about someone else's behavior, the things that I have just witnessed, while someone.
Why do you think it's that way? Angela, allow him to speak as if we was at a regular
I think
meeting.
it's a good question. If you would allow, Chair, Mr. Chair, if you would allow.
Everybody.
Point of order. The goal is to come in here and try to disrupt the meeting. So please don't even feed into it. Allow him to speak and let him say what he needs to say. And we, just like they tell us, put all of your stuff in the email that you're requesting and we'll get it to you. And hopefully we can get that information. We'll allow you to continue to talk and we're gonna move on. But we're not gonna allow you to come in here and disrupt it and then say that it's gonna be just like what goes on in there when that's what we're trying to stop. So we're gonna continue to do what we're supposed to do, allow you to speak because you are the person that is the village administrator. But you have to be open to understand that these concerns that are right here are amongst a lot of people. So when you feel like you're being put on the spot, I'm just saying that, and what they're doing is because they're dishing out what they receive also. So when you sit there and you don't do it, but I'm saying when those residents come to meetings and they have all these clap back videos and all that, just because it's not being said by a person, it's still happening and affecting them. So you can continue your comments and then we can move on because we have a limited time because we're in the park district because we can't have a meeting in our own home, which is the village hall.
Again, I was not trying to disrupt the meeting. The young lady, she was going to ask me a question. I asked the chair the proper way. I asked him whether or not I could answer the question. If you don't want me to answer the question, that's fine. I thank you. Hey, listen, I thank you guys for your time. I'll send all of those questions that I had in an email to each one of you guys, whether I receive them or not. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here in front of you guys and to all the residents. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
So, and that's his sentiment now. So I think Keith Freeman, he is the author of Chaos. He keeps up a lot of stuff. He has in his hands in all the pots. In all the pots. He's the administrator. So the staff follows his direction. And he follows Tiffany Henyard's direction. And I don't even think Tiffany, I think it was this meeting. I think one of the ladies was saying that he needs to go because they don't think Tiffany Henyard is that smart to do most of the things that he's doing. This lady right here. So a lot of people don't like Keith Freeman, and Keith Freeman, he's not a resident of Dalton either. He lives in, I believe, Orland, Illinois. So it's another little suburb in by Chicago or around the village of Dalton.
We have a chairperson of the finance committee, and that's Trustee Stan Brown, correct? He has not once said anything about any finances, let alone the deficit. So when he talks and when he speaks, he just spills, he reads the 15 pages of whatever is going on in the township, which has nothing to do with Dalton. So is there a way we could get some kind of documentation maybe put out on what the deficit is and what's going on? I mean, because we hear it and we do know it, but I think we need to see it, because you guys always, the board of trustees always they have documentation, they have receipts, they have all that, but the administration on their end, it's always, this is what we're doing and this is what's happening, but they never show us any receipts. They just say, this is what's going on. That won't work anymore, because if we have a deficit, we need to know that we have a deficit. And I think if people see that, or if it's tangible in their hands or something that they can see, then maybe we can start to move forward. The author of all the chaos in the village of Dalton is our village administrator. I think as a whole, we need to demand that he resign. You know, everybody is replaceable. I mean, show us his contract. Who is he? He is not the mayor. We need to be able to get the answers, and he's not going to give them to us. You know, as far as even he's asking the clerk for all this information, he can get it. He's an IT king. He's locking folks out their email. So, you know, you have the information. We know that he was sent here to disrupt the meeting. We know that. I mean, it is sad. He has a police officer escorting him to a meeting, and if I call the police tonight because somebody is breaking in my neighbor's car, which did happen, and nobody will show up, but somebody that doesn't even live in our town.
So he got security now, too.
Yes, so. I guess so. But again, we need to, as residents, and she can reappoint him every month. Who cares about that? But we need to be on record as residents and as a board to let them know that this is not acceptable, and that the author of chaos is not going to just be here and do whatever he wants to do, and we just sit back and we take it. We need to let everyone know that we don't want him here. I wanted to leave this meeting. You know how hard it was for me to sit here, because I do not go to board meetings with him here. He's dangerous. You know, they walk around with police protection, but we can't even be safe because we don't know what they're doing. They use the police however they want to, you know, to protect them, and they're the criminals. But again, we as residents need to demand that he resign.
Yep.
We need to do that. We need that he resign. We need to do that. There is no reason for him to sit in our face and make $100,000 and then more money at the township, and he's never at the village, from what I'm understanding. I mean, he is the author of all of this chaos. And when we have to pick our battles, he's the biggest battle. Because if he wasn't here, we wouldn't be going through this. Some of it at least, because we all know that she ain't smart enough to do all this stuff. He is the engine to this train of chaos. It's over. It's ridiculous. And the powers that be, we need to get on our senators, our state representatives, everybody. It's time for everybody to stop. Oh my gosh, she's terrible. It's time for that to stop. You know, everybody is saying it in secret, but they're doing nothing. Nothing. So, again.
Yeah, she has a point. I believe he is the author of most of the chaos that they're going through right now. And like I said, you saw him last year or the year before last of how his demeanor was, how they talked to each other amicably. And now you can't even have a conversation with him because he's very condescending. That passive aggressive attitude. People are afraid of him. You shouldn't be able, like that assessor, Alicia, Allison Keys, they moved her office to the basement. And she said she's afraid to go down there. That's why she hardly ever goes to work in that particular building because she's afraid. Nobody's down there with her, and she's the only one. And that's how they treat people. That's bully mentality. You're going against the grain. You're not doing what I told you to do. You're thinking too much. You're asking too many questions. So we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you not to ask too many questions. And I said that this was my last story, but I have one more story to share with you guys. Last year, I don't know if it was last year or beginning of this year, they put the fire chief on suspension. And I don't know if he was the fire chief or he was the president of the union of the fire chief. And they put him on suspension. And let me just pull this story up because this was, I believe, Chicago Times or Chicago Tribune. It was the union representative. Let me see if I could find it on Facebook because you probably could see it better. So they fired him, or not fired him. They put him on suspension because he was asking too many questions in regards to the pension. Let me see if I can find a story. I think this is it. Okay. Now I don't know where it's at, but let me just share because I copied it and pasted it in my what is it called? My Word document. Let me just share this with you so you guys could see it. Oops. It says a union representing Dalton firefighters has accused Dalton officials of illegally disciplining the group's president after he raised questions about funds missing from a pension account. The dispute raises fresh concerns about how the administration of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is handling money and treating employees perceived as insufficiently loyal. Henyard also serves in a $277,000 a year post as supervisor of Thornton Township, where she recently fired nearly a dozen employees. Attorney Susan Mata filed a complaint Tuesday with the Illinois Labor Relation Board on behalf of the Dalton Professional Firefighters Association, Local 3766 of the International Association of Firefighters. The complaint accuses Dalton officials of engaging in unfair labor practices regarding David Duvall, a captain with the Dalton Fire Department and the president of the Local 3766. End quote. The village threatened union president David Duvall with discipline, placed him on paid administrative leave pending investigation, and subject Duvall to threatening and hostile behavior. And now we already know that some prior people just quit because of the hostile behavior. She's acting like she's I say the queen, but no, she's acting like she a mob boss. The complaint accuses village officials of alleged coercion, interference, and retaliation that infringed Duvall's rights as a union member. The village conduct made Duvall's job security feel threatened, according to the complaint. Such conduct towards the union president also chills other employees in the exercise of their rights. Trustee Jason House, one of the 5 village board members who have sought transparency and accountability from Henyard's administration amid concerns about unauthorized spending and volatile personal management, provided a copy of the complaint. The union has certain protections, and there is a specific process by which a union member should be disciplined, House said. House also provided a copy of a letter to Dalton's fire chief, Stephen McCain, sent to Duvall January 17th, notifying him that he has been placed on paid administrative pending the outcome of the investigation. The Village of Dalton's Fire Department has opened an investigation regarding a series of alleged inappropriate emails that you sent to various village officials, McCain wrote. Effective immediate, you are relieved from all job duties and responsibilities, McCain wrote or ordered. So just because he questioned of the pension fund, they put him on paid administrative leave. They put him on paid administrative leave because he questioned them. Which doesn't make any sense. So, like I said, Tiffany act like she's running, or she acts as if she is a mob boss. And you better not question her, because she gonna come from you. How dare, and why you asking, you see how she acting in a minute in the meeting. Why you asking me that? Why you want to know that? It's enough. She hates to be questioned, but she is a public servant, so they have the right to question you. I was trying to find that one last video I wanted to show you guys because this is another lady that I think she actually quit because they was doing some crazy stuff. They was doing some crazy stuff. Let me see history. I think it's on this one, but I'm not for sure. Oh, this is her. Let me let me interject. Kamala ain't nothing either. Kamala ain't nothing. Tiffany ain't nothing. These were all bad choices. I didn't know it was gonna go to commercial. Um, Mm. Bunch of bad choices. So the sex offender, the violent sex offender, I guess she was, you know, more than a friend.
Had proof that they told us to not come to the board meeting for the trustees. I had proof. He emailed us and said, if we came to the board meeting, you know, because the board meeting was slipped and mixed in, we would be fired immediately. He went into my email and wiped it. He went into my email and wiped it. I only had, when I quit, 20 emails between the two of us. And if I'm the chief of staff and he's the village administrator, we talk a lot, right? He wiped it. He came in and said, I need to get rid of the communications director, the former communications director. I said, you might not want to do that because he's good at what he do. Guess what? He went and told him, I'm gonna bring somebody else over you. This person has zero experience. He didn't even know how to work a Zoom. He didn't even know how to send an email. He don't know how to make a flyer. He don't know how to do anything relating to communications, but I'm gonna make him over you. This man who's quite literally a college level professor. Of course he quit. But then guess what? Keith Freeman went and told HR, send him home now. So the next board meeting come up. Now everybody's being muted because the guy he got don't know what the hell he doing. So I had to step in. And then Keith also told us to mute everybody off of Facebook. Any negative comments, delete them, block them, get rid of them. Delete them, block them, because she don't want to hear it. It's not about you. Rule of thumb when it comes to marketing, 101, who are you marketing to? The consumer. You may not like them shoes, and you sell her some. But guess what? At the end of the day, it ain't about you and what you like, right? It's about what she like because you're trying to appease to your residents, your consumers, the people who vote for you. So this is stuff I'm telling Tiffany, right?
I just want to go back because I didn't realize you guys wasn't able to hear the stream. Let me just go back to this part. Tiffany hired the sex offender. This lady, she hired on as a PR person and the chief of staff. Tiffany basically lied to her. She basically lied to her. She had her believing that everybody's against her. She had her believing that she had a stalker, and the guy that she claimed that was stalking her was running her campaign. Tiffany act like she didn't even know the guy from a can of paint. And this guy ran her whole campaign. And it probably was one of those things where she probably didn't pay him to run her campaign. But anyway, she believed that she was part of something. She said, oh, this is a Black woman, 37-year-old. She is a single mother that I could stand behind. I really believe in what she's doing. Black girl magic. Hey, we just elected Kamala Harris, and you guys see me. I just said Kamala Harris ain't shit. Tiffany ain't shit. But she believed in Tiffany. So that's why she signed on. Fast forward, Tiffany got caught up in lying to the people about the guy that had the background.
Publicist. Well, about 2-3 weeks later, the chief of staff who brought me in there, she just up and quit. So seeing as though I have the experience, I got the degrees and things like that, she just moved me into that position, and here I am, right? So I'm sort of working as PR, but then I'm also working as chief of staff, and I'm seeing all of this chaos because I'm gonna be real with you all. She had me thinking that everybody was just bullying her. The trustees was bullying her. Some residents were bullying her. She told me she had a stalker online. I found out the man ran a campaign. She told me she didn't even know him. She told me she didn't even know this man. He ran her campaign. She had me thinking that this man was going to do physical harm to her, and he ran her campaign. So let me stay on task because I got a lot of notes because a couple of things I heard today that I need to address. First and foremost, the person that was arrested for the background of sexual offense. She told me that she didn't know. Keep in mind, I'm PR and I'm the chief of staff. I need to know the truth, because how can I help you if you don't tell me, of all people, the truth? She told me, she said, I didn't know he had a background. She said, I didn't know. I can't believe he did this to me. I didn't know he had a background because I was watching the board meeting that day. And in that same board meeting, she added me on the agenda to vote me in as a contractor. Whole time, I work there. I'm at work. I'm on the clock. I'm a W-2 employee, so why am I on the agenda? But whatever. And I noticed that she introduced the other people to the same board meeting, the chief of staff who was quitting, and the media guy. And I'm like, but I'm here. I'm an employee. Why am I on the agenda to be voted on? But okay, this is interesting. Back to the person. I saw it come up in the comment section on YouTube, so the next day I pulled him and I pulled Tiffany in the office. I said, y'all got 48 hours. Before this place is swarmed with media. I need to know what happened. She said, I didn't know. He looked at her kind of funny, but he didn't open his mouth. Later, I found out not only she knew, she was his friend. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay out of that because that's personal. We're gonna keep it business. But now I understand why she's standing behind her friend.
That's why I said she makes a bunch of bad decisions. She made bad decisions prior to her being in office, and she's making a bunch of bad decisions now. Anytime you breaking and entering in cars at 30-something years old, you going in and taking stuff that don't belong to you. This is the person that feel like, oh, I could take whatever I want to, and there is no consequences. Who's going to stop me? I could do whatever I want. Who's going to stop me? That's the person we're dealing with.
Okay, so I'm learning that in my 10 months as chief of staff / PR, that this mayor is the most vindictive,
yep,
manipulative,
yep,
self-righteous,
yep,
individual I
yep,
have ever met in my life. Her administrator, let me be real clear, Keith D. Freeman, is even worse.
yep.
I had proof that they told us to not come to the board meeting for the trustees. I had proof. He emailed us and said, if we came to the board meeting, because the board meeting was slipped and mixed, we would be fired immediately. He went into my email and wiped it. He went into my email and wiped it. I only had, when I quit, 20 emails between the two of us. And if I'm the chief of staff and he the village administrator, we talk a lot, right? He wiped it. He came in and said, I need to get rid of the communications director, the former communications director. I said, you might not want to do that because he's good at what he do. Guess what? He went and told him, I'm gonna bring somebody else over you. This person has 0 experience. He didn't even know how to work a Zoom. He didn't even know how to send an email. He don't know how to make a flyer. He don't know how to do anything relating to communications, but I'm gonna make him over you. This man who's quite literally a college level professor. Of course he quit. But then guess what? Keith Freeman went and told HR, send him home now. So the next board meeting come up. Now everybody's being muted because the guy he got don't know what the hell he doing. So I had to step in. And then Keith also told us to mute everybody off of Facebook. Any negative comments, delete them, block them, get rid of them. Delete them, block them, because she don't want to hear it. It's not about you. Rule of thumb when it comes to marketing, 101, who are you marketing to? The consumer. You may not like them shoes, and you sell her some. But guess what? At the end of the day, it ain't about you and what you like, right? It's about what she like because you're trying to appease to your residents, your consumers, the people who vote for you. So this is stuff I'm telling Tiffany, right? And that's just the first part. Now, things I've seen, I can confirm that she and he told us to hold the warrant list from the trustees. You know why? She said, because we are at war, and how do we give our opponent resources to help them? War? And I'm saying this in front on camera, recorded, said she said it, I was going to oath. War. We are at war. I can't give them anything to help them. FOIA requests. So the media reached out, and they wanted to know about the withholding of the FOIA requests. Keep in mind, they come to me because I'm HR, right? This is what I do. I'm the HR PR. I reached out to Shantae. No, I first reached out to Jimmy. Even though Shantae is technically a corporate attorney, I learned that from Kiana. And I'll get to that story in a second. But I went to Jimmy Vasali. So I emailed him, he didn't call me back. So I called him, he didn't call me back. I ended up calling Shantae. I said, the media is reaching out to me about some FOIA requests they ain't getting responded to. Y'all know y'all ain't did this. He told me to write up my statement. The clerk has not turned it in. Can't do that. Now guess what? I have text messages of what he said to say in this phone, because I did everything from my personal phone for a reason, period. So he said, no, you're going to say the clerk refused to give you the information to turn in. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go lie on this lady. She look like my mama. I'm not about to say that. And that's it. That's all. And then I realized that I'm hearing on a conversation, Keith is going into the deputy clerk's email. Then he hung up on me. I said, did he just say? So yeah, you know what I did? I went right to the deputy clerk. Watch your email, boo. Because he's in it. Because he took IT ability, keep in mind he has an IT background, to have access to the back, the back door, the back office, wiping out the emails so you can't use them against them. So, hold on, got a long list here. Let's see. Employee harassment. We have been told on numerous occasions that we will be fired if we did not comply. Numerous occasions that we'll be fired if we didn't comply. If we went to board meetings with the trustees, we'll be fired. If we went to tea with the trustees, we will be fired. If we return FOIA requests, we'll be fired. In fact, if anybody been to the village hall, do you remember where the HR lady sat? I had to give up my office downstairs to put her down there so the trustees and the clerk couldn't get to her to ask questions about the money. I had to move 5 o'clock at night immediately. I had to move. I had to leave my office, my desk, and I didn't have nowhere to go. I had to sit around float. How am I running the mayor's office and I don't even have a desk? But the HR lady needed to be downstairs so they couldn't ask her the questions that she needed to ask. Now, it wasn't no fault of hers. Now, let me say that. Don't come down on the staff because literally they're doing what they're told. Now, she's supervisor. I'm going to go back in the story. So today, I'm like, oh my God, she's supervisor. Yes, okay, she did her thing. Congratulations, yes. Supervisor, what does supervisor do? I don't know. That's the conversation between me and the supervisor. So she told me to reach out to the people there and get a play-by-play of the job duties because she didn't know what she was doing. But she's in control of a, what is it, $50 million budget, 185,000.
That doesn't surprise me. Tiffany just hiring her friends, anybody that she could pad their pocket, and they don't know what they're doing. She just tell them what to do. That's what she wants. So she could tell people what to do, so she could do whatever she wants. She don't want nobody questioning her.
Residents, she don't even know her job. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so they had me to go over to the township. They wanted me to do PR. Okay, that's cool. PR is part-time. I'm working. But then if it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, she need me to get up and come over to the township while I'm on Dalton's dollars. I had to go. Why? Because I didn't want to be fired. Because she's going to tell you once a day, she's going to fire you if you don't do what she say. So I got called into her office once after one of the board meetings, and Keith Freeman told me I needed to write up the communications director. I said, for what? He ain't did nothing. It was technical difficulty. He's never had a board meeting in person before. He said, well, if you don't, you're going to be fired. It's okay, I quit that day, but I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, that's the type of stuff. They do spend money like water, just being real. We ate good, the whole staff. Chicken, feeding seniors off of the Dalton dollar, because you know what she said? It's campaigning for her and seniors vote. Yeah, seniors vote. She ain't gonna come and say stop the recall, but what she gonna do is put a lavish party together and play some bingo so you like her. Also, the snow removal program, you notice they said you had to put a sign in the window? Yeah, she just wanted you to have her name in the window because it's campaigning. And that justified her sending it through the board to have them pay for it because it's campaigning. Because she can't have them do a campaign sign and say do it, so she gonna call it a snow removal program. That I did the flyer. She had me lying to you all. That's why I apologize, because she said she was paying for it out of pocket. And then Public Works came and shoveled y'all snow. That call center that you all were calling, I own it. And I never charged a dime. Why? Because I genuinely care about the people. That's I got more. I ain't even done yet. The Fire and Police Commission, I heard a rumor that the clerk from Thornton Township swore them in. Nope. Guess who swore them in? With the curtain closed, moved the flags downstairs. The mayor. She swore them in. Yeah, she sure did. It was 11 o'clock in the afternoon. While nobody was looking, made sure your door was closed. Actually, Stan came and closed her door. Asked the deputy clerk. So now, moving along, having a conversation with the person that had the background. I say, the one thing you did wrong, buddy, was you failed to tell her the truth. I'm still defending her. I'm arguing with some people. Every day I'm defending her. He said, failed to tell her the truth about what? I said, you failed to tell her the truth about having a background. Why would you put that sister in that light like that? He said she knew. I told her. She know me. She knew. She wanted me to have the security detail position. And her advisor at the time told him that he couldn't do that. He told her he couldn't do that. Now let me get to talking about how she was extorting certain businesses. Oh, I know it all.
Extorting businesses. Well, we know that. We found that out.
So, one business owner, is it okay to say the name? A business owner, is it okay to say the name? Okay, so Rucker Holden was bringing a cigar lounge to Dalton. Okay, so just so happened, Kiana works for him in his other businesses. But because she don't like Kiana, Trustee Belcher, she's not gonna give Rucker what he wants. In fact, she told him, if you don't get your bitch in order, I'm not giving you what you want.
What? Y'all hear that?
Yeah, so get this.
What? No, she didn't. No, she didn't. If you don't get your man yet on it, you ain't gonna. That's some hood stuff right there. That's some hood stuff.
Works for him in his other businesses. But because she don't like Kiana, Trustee Belcher, she's not gonna give Rucker what he wants. In fact, she told him, if you don't get your bitch in order, I'm not giving you what you want.
No,
yeah, so get this. He came into the office one day. This is how I found all this out. He came into the office one day. They said DeAndre Rucker. I'm like, I know DeAndre, hold on. What's up? He told me, he said, I'm trying to get my business together, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I just heard your building was not compliant. That's what I was told. He said, that's not true. He had it investigated. He had it, inspected. Everybody, it's been inspected 5-6 times. He was in compliance. She just didn't like him. Now get this. That same day, there's an ordinance to have his cigar lounge open. Now, let me tell you something if you've never been to Rucker Cigar Lounge, it's sexy, grown and sexy. Riff Raff can't even afford the cigars, let alone anything else in there, so you're not gonna get them there. It's sexy, real nice for grown-ups. It's just nice, good music, all that. So I'm like, this will be a plus for Dalton. Well, he come with one ordinance, Kiana come with another ordinance. I went and pulled another ordinance. It's 3 ordinances. These are false ordinances. Somebody got some falsified fraudulent documents, right? The clerk's office only had 1, but it came 3 different ordinances. So I'm like, okay, this look a little sus. Let me look into it over the weekend. I had a meeting set up with them the next week. I got called in by the administrator, said it's a conflict of interest. I have to remove myself because I know him. Okay, see what we doing here? That's why I asked you when I saw you there. I'm like, hey, whatever happened with that? Because I wasn't allowed to speak on it, or to him for that matter. This is not just a business, huh?
So just to respond to that, all of our meetings was on Zoom at the time. So even if you went back to the meeting to see the ordinance that we discussed it, the committee of the whole, when it was discussed, and when it was voted on, and I abstained because I was an employee at the time.
See, that part. So she stayed in compliance. We didn't as the administration. Now, let me tell y'all something. Have y'all ever emailed Tiffany? Because she has never, since she's been the mayor, responded herself to an email. Ever. She didn't even have access because she said she don't like responding to emails. Oh, you talking about the senior grant? So, so this senior grant program was actually supposed to be a grant program for all residents if you look at the board meeting that was said. Well, she said, I need them seniors. I'm giving them to the seniors and the veterans. Why? Because y'all vote. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I ended up quitting because I saw so much shaky stuff during that program. I couldn't take it no more. Now, let me tell you something else. I'm going to tell you what you think of the seniors if you looked at the budget. She got $200,000 allocated for a second chance program, but she got $200 set aside for the seniors.
Sherry, you said you was told she wants to fight you? What? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. I don't know how tall Tiffany is, but she seemed like she one of those short whippersnappers. Usually the short ones, those are the ones that have, problems. The ones that's like 4'9", 4'10". I don't know. She probably like 4'10". And I ain't never met her in person, but she seemed like she pretty short. But I can't believe she said she wanted to fight you. Okay. Sherry, her arms are too short to box with you or your God. Amen. I know that's right. Maria said Napoleon complex. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, so that's what she think. 190, yeah, she didn't get your whole 200. That's what she really think about the seniors. You know why? Because she can abuse the township money. Mm-hmm. The mixed and mingling, because half of her staff is over working on payroll at the township. Mm-hmm. Just being honest, if we're just being honest. I was never a W-2 employee over the township because I was advised by somebody else, and I'm gonna leave them out of there, move, run, it's illegal. And you'll be surprised who told me that. Now, I tried to bring the mayor and the trustees together. I've had a conversation with House, had a short conversation with Kiana. I sat down and had dinner with Tammy and Brittany and the mayor. They told her how they felt, I'll tell you that much. But she left that meeting and said, I will give you all the warrant lists. They hugged, we had a drink, we were friends. At least that's what I thought. Well, after that, she turned around and told me, do not give them shit. This is politics, not my, excuse my French, but I gotta tell you how she told me. She said, this is politics. You ain't giving them nothing, this is war. I said, all right, you made a liar out of me. I'm done, right? That was the last 2 weeks. Now we're in the last 2 weeks. Water bill. Let me tell y'all about these water bills. I had a resident come to me. No, it was when one resident went to the news. I'm like, all right, let's figure out these water bills. So the previous administrator taught me how to pull the history and audit the bills. See, because you know, if there was a glitch somewhere, it could have happened, human error, because keep in mind, if you're calling in to pay your water bill, if you call in to give the meter reading, if a person is having a bad day and they're doing data entry wrong, human error can happen because we all human, right? That's why they do need the, you know, the new meter system and what have you. Well, this one resident came to me, she was crying. Felt so bad for it, just touched me, broke my heart. I pulled the water bill, right? I did an audit because I learned how to do it. I'm like, shout out to Ms. Brown for that, thank you. This lady, we owed her $3,000.
Oh my God.
$3,000. We paid her. I said it was at the hands of one clerk who was inputting them wrong. One clerk, not all of them, can't blame the whole water, it was one clerk doing them wrong. She'd been there a minute too. So I said, we need to go through everybody's water bill. That's what I told the administrator, Keith.
And you know what? I have a feeling that they're double billing the residents on the water bill. And also, they're not paying the water bill. The water department is their slush fund. You know that one guy, what's the guy's name? He's over the finance department or finance chair, and he's also the director of the water department. The girl that writes the checks that we just discussed, Carmen Carlisle, she writes the checks and she probably is doing whatever she's probably doing whatever they tell her to do. So I believe the water bill or the water collection is their slush fund. I really believe that. And that's why, you know, Dalton was sued and they settled. They were sued because they didn't pay the city of Chicago. I think they owed them so many millions of dollars in back water payments, and they haven't been paying that bill. And this is prior to Tiffany coming into office. So the water department is like their slush fund, and I wouldn't be surprised to see where their misappropriation of funds there, or not even misappropriation, they're just stealing, embezzling money in the water department. I wouldn't be surprised.
He said, no, we can't do.
They need an audit. The township needs an audit. The village of Dalton needs an audit. The water department needs an audit. Because since Keith Freeman's been there, and that one guy that I can't think of the name, but he's the chairman of the finance department. He's just reading. He never talks about finances. So I don't know what type of background he has, but he never talks about it. And then they had that one girl. She is an accountant. But you have people over the money that don't have a financial background. So, and what are you saying here? You just giving people the free will, a blank check to manage whatever, the money, and you never manage any money. It doesn't make any sense.
Do that. We just handle them as they come our way, because I don't want to be paying out thousands of dollars, but you owe them that bread. Let's just be honest, right? So let me tell you why I quit, as if that wasn't enough. So I have lupus. I am a spokesperson for the National Lupus Foundation of America. I've done television about it, everything. Well, my blood pressure one day, I was up at County Side nursing home. I don't know if anybody's in here from County Side. She did the pain and sip that day. My blood pressure, I was dizzy. The nurse took my blood pressure. It was 200 over 101.
Wow.
Go home, right? That's what you would have thought the mayor said. She told me I need to bring my blood pressure pills next time.
What?
That's not an excuse to call off of work.
What?
Same week, she's being inaugurated in the township, which she knew she was going to be supervised. I hope y'all knew that, right?
Yeah, we knew
Okay. She knew in January. Mr. Zuccarelli died January 3rd. January 5th, she took me to a taco shop on Torrance and told me she was preparing. That's why I did the photo shoot. Sorry, y'all, because I know y'all tired of them pictures. But anyway, she told me that wasn't an excuse. The day of her inauguration, my father-in-law fell gravely ill, and I had to pick up and go. I had to go. So we had to drive to Michigan. So I didn't make her after party. She told me she's a priority. She called me in a meeting with her entire administrative staff, said she's a priority. That same day, there's a meeting with the village administrator and all the department heads. He told them to no longer come to me for any personnel matters and to report to the finance director because I'm speaking up too much. I'm speaking up because I go hard for you all. I spoke up every time I saw something wrong. I'm like, this sounds like federal indictments. This is smelling like a lawsuit. So the day I quit, I walked out very loudly. Trustee Belcher came downstairs. I saw her, hey, trustee. She said, hey, how you doing? We exchanged some pleasantries. She went to HR. You know, I'm in the office that she built really for the Second Chance program, but I'm in there temporary or whatever. She leave. I ain't think none of it. It's a good day. I'm quitting, but it's a good day. I was gonna give my 2-week notice. I was gonna give her a 2-week notice. I said, I'm gonna have a meeting with her and just tell her, sister to sister, this is how I feel. Well, I go upstairs, I come back downstairs. It's the village administrator, the mayor, her security guard, the IT guy, all standing around his computer. I say, hey, you got a 2 o'clock appointment upstairs. And I go in my little dungeon. She said, come in for a second. Now, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get real vulgar, but I gotta tell you the truth. Why the fuck would you let Kiana downstairs? Now, Kiana, no, I didn't let you downstairs, did I? Period. But get this. I said that. I didn't tell her I didn't let her downstairs because I'm not a person. I'm not going to tell on somebody else to get them beat up. I've already dealt with the verbal abuse. I've already dealt with the lies and the manipulations and the backbiting and all this other stuff. I dealt with. I'm not going to put nobody else in that. I said, because her name is on the door. So as she say, what, how you a fucking boss, you bitch, you stupid. I can't believe you did that. This is what she's saying to me in front of all these people. So at this point, I'm like, I'm going to jail. I'm about to go to jail, right? At this point, I'm like, okay, I got this in this bank account. I got this in that bank account. I got to put my phone down because I'm finna whoop her ass. I'm sorry. So they came, they broke us up. The IT guy said, I said, what? He said it wasn't Nikita. So at this point, they identified who opened the door. She say, oh, it's cool. Well, come on, let's go upstairs to this 2 o'clock meeting. No, I quit. I walked out. I left the keys. I left the iPad. I left everything. I am done. I am done with you. The next day, I get a call from Keith Freeman. Hey, what's up? What you doing? I said, I know I'm on speaker because this is what you do to everybody, but okay. What's up? What you gonna do? You know, you should really call Tiffany and talk to her. She's willing to listen to you.
Like, I don't.
I said, I've dealt with this abusive relationship for 10 years. She's gonna listen to my lawsuit. This is it. So I said all this to tell you guys, 'cause I ain't gonna hold you no much longer because I could talk to y'all all day about that experience. That was an abusive relationship. If you all really want a better dog, y'all need to do what you need to do because it ain't gonna get better until something happens. Thank y'all.
I get to work on something.
That's crazy.
Many employees and many former employees would not have had the courage to come up here and tell that story.
Saying to me in front of all these.
Did you guys hear that?
Kiana, no, I didn't let you downstairs, did I?
The verbal abuse that somebody would go through, and they didn't come to blows. I mean, that kind of stuff. I know since I'm from the hood, I know I probably would have been arrested. I'm sorry. I know we're in the mayor's office, but when you get hood, I get hood. When they go, what Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high. No, when they go low, you get down to the gutter. Like, what? She handled that well though. She did. But I just want to play it again.
Period. But get this. I said that. I didn't tell her I didn't let her downstairs because I'm not a person. I'm not going to tell on somebody else to get them beat up. I've already dealt with the verbal abuse. I've already dealt with the lies and the manipulations and the backbiting and all this other stuff. I dealt with. I'm not going to put nobody else in that. I said, because her name is on the door. So as she say, what? How you a fucking boss? You bitch. You stupid. I can't believe you did that. This is what she's saying to me in front of all these people. So at this point, I'm like, I'm going to jail. I'm about to go to jail, right? At this point, I'm like, okay, I got this in this bank account. I got this in that bank account. I got to put my phone down because I'm finna whoop her ass. I'm sorry. So they came, they broke us up. The IT guy said, I said, what? He said it wasn't Nikita. So at this point, they identified who opened the door. She say, oh, it's cool. Well, come on, let's go upstairs to this 2:00 meeting. No, I quit. I walked out. I left the keys. I left the iPad. I left everything. I am done. I am done with you. The next day, I get a call from Keith Freeman. Hey, what's up? What you doing? I said, I know I'm on speaker because this is what you do to everybody, but okay. What's up? What you gonna do? You know, you should really call Tiffany and talk to her. She's willing to listen to you. I said, I've dealt with this abusive relationship for 10 years.
I need to call and talk to her for what? After she abused me? This is why I don't understand people. I don't understand people. And he's probably getting abused from Tiffany too. She probably talked to him all kinds of crazy. And she thinks, or he thinks, it's acceptable for someone to talk to a person in that manner. And you're supposed to be a mayor. Abusing your employees.
Years, she's gonna listen to my lawsuit. This is it. So I said all this to tell you guys, I ain't gonna hold you no much longer because I could talk to y'all all day about that experience. That was an abusive relationship. If you all really want a better dog, y'all need to do what you need to do because it ain't gonna get better until something happens. Thank y'all.
Yeah. And you know what, that couldn't have been me. But you know what, I'm not for sure. She's a very good person, a better person than I am. And that's probably why I don't work for nobody, because I don't like people talking to me crazy. Speaking of that guy that let me see. So the same guy, the guy that was hired as the inspector, the housing inspector, and he had the he's the violent sex offender. And Tiffany act like she didn't know his past. She act like she didn't even know the guy. I believe that's what they said in the news. She act like she didn't know him. But anywho, this same guy ended up doing an interview with the same guy who wrote about the Chicago Fire Department, or the president of the union. And that's what this story is about right here. And he's telling his story, and he basically said his name is Lavelle Raymond, or Redmond. shared a cautionary tale about how volunteering to do campaign work for Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard upended his life. Let me tell you, he's lying in this story. Reason why I know he's lying. This is before I even heard this was a blind. That last video I showed you, it was a blind reaction because I didn't really listen to most of it. I just listened to that very first part of it. But I didn't know they had a relationship. I just figured they had a relationship the way they was hugged up, you know. Anyway, so Lavelle Redmond shared his cautionary tale about how volunteering to do campaign work for Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard upended his life. Redmond worked as a code enforcement officer for the village until Wednesday. You could tell this article is pretty old because he was fired at the beginning of last year, I believe, or mid last year. Anyway, when he was fired, he lost his job apparently because he talked to me. His hiring last year triggered a firestorm of controversy because of his status of his registered sex offender. Redmond is no longer employed by the village of Dalton. And this is what Keith Freeman said in a statement Wednesday after I reached out to offer Henyard a chance to respond to Redmond's story. Mayor Henyard was unaware of his criminal background upon his initial hiring, Freeman said. Upon learning of that background, the village initially opted to include him in the Second Chance program, which aims to create new pathways to employment for formerly incarcerated members of the community. Mr. Redmond's hiring was unrelated to any external or previous volunteer work. Redmond described the circumstances of the crime for which he served 24 years in prison. He explained his role in the political ascent of Henyard, who is also the Thornton Township supervisor. Redmond's stories offered insight about the sometimes blurred lines between campaign work and government employment. My life has been flipped completely upside down for trying to be loyal to Tiffany, he said. I felt like she was setting me up for failure. I was supposed to tell my side of the story to the press after the Fox News report. I never got the chance to do that. Fox 32 Chicago in October revealed Redmond's employment with the village. A TV reporter visited Dalton Village Hall and shared the news with the resident who said they were terrified that the sex offender might inspect their homes. Redmond said, I was demonized. A lot of people who were loyal to her from the start are being thrown under the bus. Redmond said he has experienced homelessness while working for the village. It was hard to find housing, he said. It will be hard to find another job. He said he realized publicly criticizing Henyard might cost him his job, but he wanted to clear his name. I feel like my story needs to be told in the truth and in detail. His saga began in late 2020 when Redmond was living in Chicago, he said. He regularly visited his mother and met a man who helped carry her groceries. He questioned him, he said, and concluded he was a good Samaritan helping out. This is where I don't get the story, but whatever. Why is some other man helping you carrying groceries? You know, I just don't. What are you doing? You living with your mama and you can't carry your groceries and you in between jobs. What are you doing? I didn't understand this part. But anyway, the man said Henyard, his cousin, was running for mayor in Dalton. And the primary election was a dirty race between Henyard and the incumbent, Riley Rogers. Henyard said he was subjected to death threats, bullying, or she was subjected to death threats, bullying, and other intimidation. He would try to get me to go out to Dalton, and I was like, no, I don't want to deal with politics and none of that type of nonsense. Redmond relented and drove out to Dalton to meet Henyard and showed thanks on how her cousin helped his mother, he said. Okay, so this is why the story goes off the rail. I'm going to drive out to Dalton and pass out flyers because you helped my mom one time pulling up some groceries. Just, isn't that like, okay, here's a tip, $5. You guys put it in the chat. Maybe I'm just like, that, to me, it doesn't make any sense. You're in Chicago, you're going to drive way out to Dalton said because this man helped your mama with some groceries. When I saw her, she had these big doughy eyes, Redmond said. I just couldn't say no to her. She asked if I came out to the campaign for her. I didn't want to say no. That same night, I ended up going door to door passing out campaign literature. Redmond's account is consistent with others who have described Henyard as a savvy political candidate who falls short as a public servant. Henyard can win over skeptics with big smiles, but at public meetings, she can be ruthlessly combative with foes. Redmond said he worked the town for weeks. He passed out literature and helped Henyard defeat Rogers in February 2021 municipal primary. She had nobody that would get off their couch at home and campaign for her, he said. I believe in her movement. I wanted to be a part of something positive despite not being paid. So she didn't pay you. She didn't pay you. And then you driving out to Dalton. So, and it's nothing wrong because most people that if they believe in the cause, they usually do it for free anyway. They do volunteer work. But you're saying that this man helped you. All of a sudden this man helped you and you're saying that, oh, I'm just gonna this man may, help your mama with some groceries. And you said, oh, let me drive out to Dalton to help you. Who does that? It like I said, it did make sense. That particular part doesn't make sense. And then you didn't get paid for the campaign work. I think he's leaving out some parts. You guys put it in chat. Let me know if you think he's leaving out some parts. Campaign funds were scarce. Henyard knew how to leverage connections, however. Former U.S. Attorney Anton Valukas donated $5,000 because he formerly mentored one of the trustee candidates on her Dream Team slate. Former Governor Pat Quinn told me he introduced Henyard to President Barack Obama when Air Force One landed at O'Hare. Do you guys believe that? I thought Pat Quinn, they said Pat Quinn, or maybe he did, but she lied and said Pat Quinn endorsed her for mayor. And he wrote a letter saying, no, he didn't. So she lied about that. Anyway, Redmond's volunteer campaign work paid off when Henyard won the primary and went on easily to win April 2021 mayoral election. Henyard wanted to show thanks by putting Redmond on her security detail, he said, but there was a problem with that plan. Redmond, 47, was released from prison in 2018 after serving 24 years for aggravated criminal assault with a weapon. As a felon, he cannot carry a firearm. Redmond said he told Henyard that his background could damage her political career. He was 17 in 1992 when he was sentenced to 50 years in prison for his role in a brutal gang assault that occurred when he and 3 friends abducted 2 Roseland girls at gunpoint and forced them into an abandoned garage in 1991 when he was 16. Although it was over 30 years ago, I was a child at the time. I knew that potentially it could come back to harm me, he said. Raymond said he told Henyard and her campaign manager he did not do it to the girls. I told them I really wasn't guilty of the crime I went to prison for, yet I was there. He said I accompanied the other boys and an uncle of the boys, but I wasn't guilty of any violations. It was just that I could not fight the case. If the uncle did the crime, the uncle was going to jail. He should have said something like, no, these boys didn't have nothing to do with it. But instead, the uncle didn't even stick up for you. That's why, I don't know how many young people is listening. That's why you shouldn't be hanging around young people. I don't know how true this is either. This was 30 years ago. He could just be saying that just to get sympathy. I'm not for sure. But he was convicted of something, and he's saying he didn't do it now. But you was there. Anyway, Redmond said at the time he was a slow learner who was unable to defend himself. The judicial system makes examples of people who either can't think for themselves or can't find any proper legal representation, he said. You will become just another casualty of a broken judicial system. It happened to me and hundreds of thousands of boys who came after me. And I believe that to be true, but still, you had a grown man with you, and the grown man didn't say, oh, he didn't have nothing to do with it. No, nobody said nothing. You end up serving time in prison for essentially something you didn't do or you didn't even stop it. So I can't sympathize with this. As a registered offender, Redmond said he checks in with authorities every week and anytime he changes his residency or employment situation. He said he tried to warn Henyard that giving him a job was a bad idea, but she insisted, he said. No, I agree that you give a person a job, but why did you give them a job inspecting something? Going into people's homes, knowing very well that this guy had this record. You can give him, like I said, he could have been a trash collector in somebody back office somewhere. A lot of duties that he could have fulfilled without going into people's houses. She was vivacious, aggressive, and probably a little naive at the same time, he said. Redmond's employment formed the basis. No, she wasn't naive. She felt like she could do whatever the hell she wanted to do. Redmond's employment formed the basis for one of 3 lawsuits the board majority has filed against Henyard. The suit accused Henyard of violating the village ordinance that requires background checks for new hires. Redmond, who declined to be photographed, said he regrets getting mixed up with Dalton politics. He campaigned for all the candidates on Henyard's dream team, Slate and Fields, as if now some of them are using him to score political points against Henyard. I campaigned the day and night for all of them, he said. So this was by Tom Slowick. He's the Daily Southtown columnist for the Daily Southtown. Like I said, she wasn't naive. She knew what she was doing. And I believe he's not being very honest in this whole thing. I don't believe I don't believe it. I believe parts of it. I think the gist of the story is true, but you had some dealing with Tiffany. You know, you knew what you was doing. You knew him and Tiffany had a personal relationship. And Tiffany being the queen of the day, she thinks she could rule and nobody questioned her. And somebody's questioned her, like the other employee, she had to quit because she questioned her too much. She wasn't a yes man. So and Tiffany doesn't like that. She wants anybody, she want to say jump and you respond in how high. That's your response to Tiffany. You're not supposed to say, why do you want me to jump? No, jump and your response should be how high. So anybody that deviates from that program that Tiffany has, you're going to suffer the pain. She's going to either make you quit or she's going to fire you. Oh, the charges are pretty crazy. Let me see if I can find it. Lavelle Redmond. Let me just pull it up. Maybe I spelled his name wrong. Hold on for a second. Oh, yeah. Oops. If he was 16 and 92, right? So he got to be like 44 or 47. Maybe he's 47. I don't want to pull it up unless this is the right person. No, this is not him. Let me go back. Yeah, I don't want to pull this up, but I don't know if this is him or not. I ain't trying to dox nobody. But yeah, is violent sex offender, that's all we need to know. Is and he's acting like in this story like they didn't have a personal relationship. I think they did. Okay. So you guys, that's it. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about what's the guy's name? I gotta pull him up. Eric Kellogg. He's in Chicago. He's an ex-mayor of Harvey. His cousin got sentenced a couple of days ago. This dude, Eric Kellogg, he's been collecting money from a strip club for over like 15 years, monthly payments, because they had like some type of prostitution ring in the strip club. So the FBI was they end up charging his cousin, and his cousin actually got convicted a couple of days ago. And I'm assuming they still pending charges on Eric, but they never brought charges up against him. So he's been accused of demanding $3,000 a month from a strip club, prostitutes, meeting clients in a private area. And he demanded $6,000 in payment over the years, a month, because of this prostitution ring. And I don't know if he set it up or his cousin set it up, or he was just forcing the guy, hey, since you got this thing going on, I'm not going to come down on you. But we'll get into the story. We'll get into the story tomorrow. And then also this one lady over the diversity and inclusion for Facebook. She stole $4 million in the name of diversity. She stole $4 million in the name of diversity. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow too. So you guys, I appreciate every single last one of you. Thank you for tuning in. And I will talk to you tomorrow.